Let's try that again. Hello, hello! How is everyone tonight? Welcome back to the studio. I put up a poll during the week asking you guys what I should work on tonight, and you hung the vote. I had exactly halfway between two options, so I made the big decision and we're going to be starting a new painting. It's going to be a cloudscape, but I'm thinking I want to integrate a figure. I found a really good figure a few hours ago that I think will work well, so we're going to do a bit of everything. No music. Ooh, where's the music? Give me one sec. Let me quickly hunt up some tunes for us. I think I might have to use my other web browser. Oh no, normally I use this one. Interesting. Hunt that up. Properties. Okay. Oh, bit loud. Can you guys hear the music there? Sorry. No music still. Oh, it's showing up on my little bar thingy now, so hopefully that will have made a difference. Just waiting for the lag. Music! Yay! Awesome. Thank you so much. Oh, hi, Millie. Hi, Yuk. How are you? Thank you so much for being my wonderful audio friends here at the start of the stream. Hi, Monisha, who commented before. Welcome. You need some tunes while we're doing some art, so I'm glad we figured that out pretty quick. Yay. Alrighty, let me show you what I've got set up here today. This is our brand new board. Oh, hello, Shagameterora. So glad to have you here. Welcome to a live stream. Hey, Kimberly, how are you? Welcome. So yeah, we're starting with Face Nothing today. This is a pastel board panel by Ampersand. So it's a primed board. It does have a little bit of tooth to it, so it's got a little bit of grit because it's the pastel board variety, but my art shop was sold out of the gesso board one, which is a bit smoother, so I'm like, it doesn't matter, this is fine. We'll give this a go. I specifically had to go with this size because at the moment we're in lockdown here in Melbourne, so I already have another board in this size that I've been working on, and I can show you that one. And I found out I can order a frame from our office supplier that fits it exactly. So I've got this one. I'm going to call her about 90% finished for a show that's coming up. I just want to refine a bit more around the face and maybe a bit more around these circles, but I'm not 100% sure what I'm doing, so that's why we're not painting her on stream. Hi, Jess! More arty vibes. Oh, you're doing your nails again, Kim. Yay! I'd love an after photo afterwards if you'd love to in the Discord, of course. But yeah, so I got a board that's the same size, knowing that now I can get a frame for this board. And I'm using a new medium tonight, so I want to see how that goes. This medium is solvent free, so it doesn't have any terps in it, which is quite interesting. It's made by Gamblin. It's called their solvent free fluid. I'm just chucking a bit on the board so I make the board a bit slippery to start. Because it does have this gritty texture, I want to be able to flow. When you're doing clouds, normally I like to work wet in wet to start. And yeah, be able to flow the colours around and do a lot of mixing on the board. So if it's a really dry, gritty board, it tends to not want to flow that well. So I'm just gonna lay some down. You can probably see there is a bit of a colour difference on screen, so you can see where I've laid it down. And that's just that first layer of priming, just soaking up that bit of oil. I'm just being a bit slap happy with it. I don't need to cover the whole surface. I just want to start where I think I want to start painting. And then I can keep adding oil as we go. I also wanted to start with a reasonably big brush tonight, so I've got this big Taklon Filbert. He's got long bristles, so it's a bit flippy floppy, but at the start of a painting I think that's quite good to have a bit less control. Because then I tend to get smaller brushes and use more control towards the end of the painting when I know where everything's going. Yeah. How is everyone's days today? It was a bit of a weird one in Melbourne. It wasn't a beautiful day and it wasn't a dreary day. It was halfway. My little puppy assistant is having a snooze because she had a play date at a friend's house. Thank you to my puppy sitters who gave her a beautiful day. She came home, ate her bone, and now she's passed out with Dad on the couch. Or next to the couch. I think she relocated. It was very, very cute. Hi, Kristen. How are you? How's things? I've got to say, today weirdly feels like a Friday. I know it's a Thursday, but I feel the Friday vibes. The week is coming to an end, which is nice. I ended up working 2.5 kind of shifts at my day job this week. My day job that I quit and now I'm going back to because in COVID they've been inundated with orders. It's an art supply store. And they needed the extra help, so it was alright. It was good to see everyone and chat. And I sent my 2 big paintings, which you may have seen on my Instagram account. 2 of my big paintings got into an art prize in Adelaide. And I very scarily sent them off in a big box today with a courier. Hopefully they get there safely. I'm a little terrified, but hopefully they'll be alright. Oh, merely 6 sleeps to go. You can do it, you can do it, you can do it. Break would be lovely. But you're smashing it, so well done. Finish work for the week, Kristen? There you go, it is Friday for you. Well done! So it definitely feels like a Friday. Got your sister to book an appointment for you at the therapist? Absolutely. If it's too hard to pick up the phone and you've got someone who can, outsource it. That is a fantastic idea. Especially with those sort of things that you can get in your head about a bit and put off. Much better to get it all booked in, so well done. Alright, I think I want to put a little bit of clear sky up at the top, but we're going to go a very greeny blue. This one I've decided, so a bit more turquoise coloured. Whoa. Yeah, something like that. And I'm just going to quickly put in some guidelines for where I want this figure. Main line is this one. We're being very lap happy today, and we will figure out all our angles and things later. Sometimes I like to do this, just jump in with a random sketch. It's often when I haven't been to life drawing in a while, because I'm just eager to get paint on the board. Oh, sometimes you just need to dive into something, and I think that's the mood today. Because I've been working on so many pieces that are like 3/4 finished. Or like, yeah, like that other one, where they're like pretty much finished but I'm still messing with it. And I just need the catharsis of a new piece, I think. But I was very surprised that it was a hung vote in my community tab poll this week. Did you guys all vote? Everyone who's here? I don't do polls every week, but I was very surprised that we couldn't get a consensus when I gave like, what, 3 or 4 options for what to do this week? You guys were Very surprisingly even opinionated. You voted? Thanks, Mealy. That's what I think there was like 19 votes on stuff, and I'm like, that should be enough to find a consensus, and it still wasn't. I was very surprised. Oh, you voted for sketchbooking, I'm sorry. Oh, Jess and Kristen, they both voted? Yay! Yeah, no, it's between this and doing a practice piece on dodgy paper, so maybe we'll do that next Thursday. I think that'd be fine. Is that still something I want to do? I primed a whole lot of dodgy paper sheets the other day, so I've got a pile sitting there because I bought one of his dodgy sample packs, which is just a bit of everything, and then I bought a couple of sheets that I like the look of. And I was like, yeah, this way I can just get my hand in before we start the challenge in October. Have we got everything? Yay. What are we studying today, Mealy? I doubt I can help. But I'm always interested. I'm always curious. You voted dodgy paper? Yeah, dodgy paper was leading it for a while, and that's why I thought it would win, and then when I came to it today, I'm like, oh god, I have to make a decision. What? The main reason I decided on this is because I remembered to buy the board. If I didn't buy the board today, then we would not have been doing this. But, yeah, no, unfortunately the group show that this will be a part of was originally going to be 4 artists, but one of the artists sadly had to drop out, so I have an opportunity to do an extra piece if it's something I like. So can you kind of see where the figure's going to be? She's like holding her head, which is kind of cool. I liked how it was a very physical pose, even though it's like, it's still a portrait, but the face isn't the major player in this pose. So the face is just gonna be like a small part of it rather than an all be face like that other portrait. Yeah. Alright, that'll do for a sketch for now. I can mess with it heaps later. Get back into this sky. I want it to be fairly dark, so I'm gonna darken it up a bit. Yeah, that's better. Oh, we're doing stats, correlation and regression analysis. Does that involve very pretty graphs? Sounds like it involves pretty graphs. It sounds fun. No, that sounds interesting. I do like stats. I'm not good at doing stats, but I like it when people show me how data works, because I think that's very cool and interesting. That's my main problem. I'm really bad at like putting data together, but I like seeing how it works, which is cool. That's why I like all the ABC News articles where they do a lot of graphs and statistical data and break it down, like when they do their big survey every year. I forget what that's called, but they do, or their like political survey where everyone picks where they are, left or right wing, that kind of thing, on the dot chart. Dot chart? It's like a scatter plot. I think that's what you call it. I like that one. Yeah. Yeah, see, when you visualize the statistical data, I find that really fascinating, because then it suddenly, like, wigs my brain, and I'm like, oh, that's, yes, that. But that's why I need pretty graphs with colors and stuff to make it work. If you show me just an Excel spreadsheet full of numbers, it makes my brain hurt. That's just me. Oh, you could do it, Millie. Go work for the ABC. They do lots of cool shit. Lots of cool shit like that. Yeah, outsourcing decisions didn't work for me this time. It didn't work for me the way it worked for you, Kimberly. Outsourcing. But I tried, and I'm very thankful to the 19 people who participated and attempted to skew my data. Hey, we narrowed it down to 2 choices, so at least that was some decision making, not on my part. This is what I love about these Filbert brushes. See how when I just sort of flop it, it leaves these little curves? And they sort of naturally create almost cloudy shapes. That's the best thing about a Filbert. It sort of naturally creates this fluffy atmosphere. And I don't think I could have painted cloudscapes until I started becoming friends with Filbert brushes, because I would have just gotten annoyed and frustrated. Like even this, I'm just running the brush back and forth and it's creating this beautiful cloudy texture at the top. Even though this is meant to be my plain sky, it's fine. I like it. I'm not going to ruin it. Yeah, I was against Filbert brushes for the longest time. I think that's because I didn't understand how to use them. So they're a brush that's designed not to give you edges, not to give you sharp edges. Everything sort of smooths out quite naturally with a Filbert because it does this taper down to the sides. And when I started, I always liked using angle brushes, which I still love using, which are the like square one with a flat top. Very ugly one, but one of those guys. And I still use these a lot because these are my lazy man brush, because you can do a straight line, a wide line, and a point with it. So it's a very versatile brush and I find them very easy to paint with. When I do life drawing, I use these almost all the time. But Filberts just allow for this softness, especially on large planes. So if you have large bits of skin like a thigh, or like I'll have with this arm where I want it to be a very smooth graduation of colour, Filberts will just marry the colours together quite happily, rather than an angle brush will sort of naturally want to put little cuts into it and little angles. Yeah, I normally do life drawing at Hawthorne Art Society in the city, but with lockdown, I've not been able to do that for quite a while, which stinks. I've done a couple of online sessions. I definitely recommend Top Secret Life Drawing. They're based in Melbourne, but they like have all these international people who come in on the Zoom sessions, which is super cool. They are great. I will admit, I find it very hard to see what I want to see through a computer screen. I find all the lighting makes the forms really hard to see, which, because I paint in shapes rather than in lines, it just makes me a bit frustrated. I have done some sessions that I really enjoy, and I've actually got 2 life drawing videos. One's real time and one's sped up. One is life drawing, it was only a few months ago. I think it's just called life drawing in real time. And then I've got another YouTube video which is Mortal Kombat life drawing, but that one's with dry media rather than the paint. And yeah, they're both examples of me at Top Secret Life Drawing recording my process while I'm painting to set time frames. Yeah, it's definitely open to everyone. Check them out on Facebook or Instagram, Top Secret Life Drawing, and they'll put up a like try booking link every week. I'm pretty sure they're on Thursday nights, which I do apologize, but next week I'm streaming Thursday morning, so next week would be a great time to do it if you don't want to miss a stream. And yeah, there's a different theme every week. They're very queer friendly, they're very body positive, they do all sorts of different themes. I think this week's theme is Madonna. So they've got 2 female models doing various epochs of Madonna, which is very cool. Yeah, all that kind of thing. And yeah, they have such a huge gamut of artists. A lot of the artists do digital drawing, some of them do watercolor, some of them do ink, charcoal, oil painting like me. Like, there's someone there that does everything. Like, it's pretty nuts. Well, I'm liking these colors so far. Okay, cool. So essentially that's the darkest bit, but I do want it to go a bit darker towards the base. I'll just mop in some dark down here as well. Might have to move my camera down. Where's the camera? Boop. Nope. Boop. Go down here for a bit. Yeah. Yeah, that was Top Secret Life Drawing. There are a couple of others that are quite popular. Life Drawing Society in Melbourne is one. I think they've got a session on Sunday they emailed me about. And then it's not Dr. Sketchy's, it's... Or is it Dr. Sketchy's? There's another one a lot of people go to, but I haven't gone to that one. What's it called? Oh, I forget. That's a terrible recommendation, my bad. There's another random one in Melbourne. I don't know what it's called, and I haven't gone. Terrible recommendation. Sorry. I'm gonna try and make sure there's a bit less texture in these bits at the bottom because I don't want them to sort of grab attention away from the figure. I sort of want there to be the most action in the clouds up here, and then your eye comes down to the face. So we've already got this beautiful curve shape with the arms, and that's where I want the eyes to travel. So down here we'll just keep it nice and calm, but deep colours. Which is a mess. Maybe even a little deeper. Deeper, deeper, deeper. I'm liking this medium so far, it's sort of doing what I want. I'm glad we already put a bunch on the surface, because that's definitely helped the paint move. That was a good call. Pass, Liz. Good call. Now the other thing I want to do is bring the clouds sort of into the figure, so I'm just going to interrupt here. I remember to do that. So I don't want the clouds to come around her arms. Like they were holding her arms. It's a subtle indication, but that's all I need to remember. Oh yeah, don't paint a solid arm there. And we want another one up here. You can. Linseed oil is a very fat medium, and by fat I mean it's 100% oil content. And if you use 100% oil, not only does it take a very long time to dry, but you notice it might run down because it's thick. It's like painting with like a thin honey. It might run down the board as you go, so that's why it's normally recommended to use a thinner medium. A lot of people mix their own mediums by using linseed oil and some solvent. One such example, Art Spectrum make the number 1, 2, 3 system. Number 1 medium is, I think, 60% solvent, 40% oil. It's very thin, it dries very fast, it doesn't sag or anything like that, but it's very thin, it's watery. Then number 2 is, I think, a 50-50 mix, and number 3 is more of a 60% oil, 40% solvent mix. So that's a very thick oil that you use for those fine details at the end that you want to be really nice and glossy and luminous. So the main thing in oil painting that you hear everyone say in classes is the fat over lean rule, which is when you're painting layers, I describe it as like tomato soup. So if you paint very thin oil over very thick oil, it's like skinning a tomato soup. So you end up with this skin on the top and the underneath stays wet and it doesn't dry properly. So you want to make sure that your lowest layers are always thinner, so they skin and dry completely before you add fatter layers over the top. And you never want to end up with like a sandwich where the middle layer is still wet and not drying while the top layer skins over, because that layer potentially will crack or will wrinkle or will damage over time. And this is sort of what's happened with a lot of classic paintings, is you will see sometimes that some areas of the painting have wrinkled or cracked more severely, and that's where they've used a lot of oil and it hasn't dried properly. So that's sort of how that works. If you're doing alla prima painting all in one session, you can use pretty much whatever you want. But I do mention that sagging issue with oils, because if you do a painting and you love it, and it's got really thick oil all over, and you let it sort of dry overnight, you might notice it'll shift and blur a little bit because it's literally gravity affecting the oil on the surface. Unless you lay it flat. That's another thing you can do to cheat that, is to lay it flat. But it's all about creating a texture that you like painting with. And for me, I like something that's quite liquidy at the start, and then I like something that's a little bit more tacky and grabby when I get to sort of later stages in the painting where I'm sort of putting things in particular places and I want them to stay there. At this stage, everything's very fluid, everything's moving a lot, and that's absolutely what I want. I want things to move. Yeah, not sort of stay in one spot, because I'm not sure if it's in the right spot yet. All I've done is a loose sketch, I'm not sure. And that's, yeah, where I want it to be. able to be changed very easily. Kind of like drawing something very light because you want to be able to erase it if you don't like it. Using a light medium with, like, this is a solvent-free medium. This is a bit different, but it's still got the texture of a thinner medium, not a straight oil that I'm using today. I'm finding it interesting. It definitely doesn't smell, which is really nice. This solvent-free one has no smell at all. And even my low solvent mediums that I normally use, they still always have a smell, but this is literally nothing, which is interesting. Just want a bit more green in that area, so I'm just integrating a little bit of different yellows until I hit the one I want. That was too powerful. That's too green. Alright, so we're gonna have to move that and change that a bit because that's way too green. I'm spreading it thin to try and dissipate it with the blue that's already there. Oh, it's still green. That's okay. We can fix it. It's fine. Yeah, we can fix that. That's fine. Cool. This painting is possibly for an exhibition. So I mentioned just at the start that one of the exhibitions I'm a part of has had to change dates because of the lockdown. So they've had to push it out again. And it was an exhibition of 4 artists, but sadly one of the artists has had to drop out. So because of that, there is a slight opportunity where I could enter 4 artworks instead of 3 artworks. Because we are looking to fill the same space with 3 artists now, not 4. So I thought I'll give this one a go. I did try another similar painting with a figure in clouds and I didn't like it. So this is my second attempt at the same concept, but with a completely different figure and different color scheme. So I don't know, I'm already liking it better than that other one. In the other one, the model was upside down, but in the reference photo, she was only sideways, and I sort of tried to force some gravity into one that wasn't there, and it just didn't look right. I didn't get very far with it. Which happens sometimes. You try something and if you sort of... I find sometimes if I try and do something with the wrong reference material, you can only fake it so far before it looks wrong. It would have been much better if I could have reshot the photograph with the gravity going the right way. And it's something I might still do in future, but in these circumstances, the only model I have access to is myself, and I only paint myself sometimes. Most of the time I can't be bothered, because I don't know. Painting yourself is a whole other thing. You get very introspective and very judgy on yourself and have this whole out-of-body experience. It's a weird thing. Sometimes you just don't feel like doing all the introspection and that. Yeah. Yay! I'm glad you like the sketch so far. I do. I like it too. It is interesting the parts where I made it wet and I did just a thin line. You can see that they're kind of blurring a bit, all these lines, and that's what I was talking about when you have oil content and gravity moves it, they will sort of naturally blur a little bit, and even though this is a thin medium, it's still blurring a bit. But that's okay. They're just guidelines. Alright. Let's bring... more to them. You're gonna hear me fight between blues and greens for a lot of this. Her skin is quite golden coloured and orange, so I think that'll contrast really well with these blues and greens, and that's why I sort of don't want it to be straight blue, because blue and orange are opposites on the colour wheel. They sort of fight visually. But orange is one step to the side of... No. Blue and orange are opposites, and then green is one step to the side. So orange and green have a weird, interesting relationship where everything looks bright and intense. Complementary colors? I think that's what you call them. And that's, yeah, I like doing that, where you sort of go opposite, but like one step to the side in your color choices, and then they end up buzzing a little bit. They're not fighting each other, but they're very bright and bring out the best in each other. Alright, I think we need to lighten the brush a lot. So I'm going to add a whole bunch of white. And some Naples yellow. Because I don't want to lose this contrast difference. I'm not going to paint too much of these clouds that are going over because I do still need some base skin colour to feather in before I go over the top with clouds, but you can sort of see where I'm going with it. I have a guideline. Clouds. They're going to go that way. There's a lot of blue on my brush, so I've got to remember to keep picking up white if I want it to keep it lighter. I don't want anything to be pure white at this stage, which working on a white background, it's quite obvious that, you know, none of my paint that I'm putting on is pure white, but I've just got to be conscious that everything doesn't get too dark, otherwise it'll take a lot more work to build it back to bright. Some people really like painting on white canvases. I don't a lot of the time. Most of the time I start on a mid-tone canvas. And that's because then I can sort of go lighter or darker. This one, everything is going to be darker than the background colour. And that's sort of working in one direction rather than back and forth. Which I don't know, it's probably a little more work, or rather you just don't have as much control of choice as you do when you're working in both light and dark. It's probably much of a muchness really, but a lot of people like working on white because all their colours look very bright from the get-go because they're all on a white background. They don't sort of start muddy. I sort of like the neutralness a lot of the time. But this board was white, so I didn't care. It was the right size, that's what I needed. So, meh. That was weird, the song did an evil laugh. But there's a nice violin, so it's forgiven. My whole room still smells like lasagna because I had lasagna for dinner. Which is an interesting dynamic to paint to when I can't smell my medium like I normally do. Now my room just smells like lasagna. Alright, I'm going to move you guys up a bit again because that bottom corner is probably not going to change much. But I am going to get into some detail in this top corner. Yeah. Yeah. What's everyone been watching lately? I watched Auntie Donna for the first time last night. Very weird Australian sketch comedy. But good. I enjoyed a lot of the guest cameos they had. Like Christian Schall and stuff. She's great. Yeah. Auntie Donna's one is the one everyone was talking about it for so much last year, and I just never sat down and actually watched it, so last night I did. And I'm glad I did, because I've seen like Mark Bonanno on Twitch and stuff, and he's fun. Utopia. What's Utopia? Is it the book from Ever After that Cinderella really likes because her dad gave it to her? Yes, it is. That's all I know. Love that movie. I like a lot of versions of Cinderella. I have like a weird playlist of like all Cinderella films that I enjoy. Like the Roger and Hammerstein Disney one with Brandy. I love that one. Utopia is amazing. Ooh, got 2 recommendations. Dun, dun, dun. Comedy show about working in public service. and it's too spot on. Okay, that sounds kind of fun. That is not what I was expecting. It sounds like some sort of political drama. There's Rob Stitch and Celia Piccola. Ooh. Is it sort of like Parks and Rec in that it's that like banal setting but good comedy people? Yay! Good mealy recommendation. Kim backing it up. Alright, just gotta move one of my windows. There we go. Ooh, dog hair. Get out. Bad dog hair. Get out of the painting. Fantastic. Yeah. The other good thing about using wet on wet is at this stage of the painting, if you have to gouge a big hole in it because there's a dog hair, you can fix it in like a second. So good. Chill vibes. I'm enjoying that side of it. Let's move over this side. Get rid of this stark white business. Although I want a bit more dark in that corner. I'm running out of medium. A little bit. A little bit more. I'm too medium happy so far. Oh, hey Sally! How you going? Is that Celia Piccola's comedy special on Audible? You did mention you were watching a comedy thing. I didn't pay attention to what it was. My bad. How's your day been, Sally? How are you feeling? Having a lot of fun with a very loose cloudscape so far, which we will be integrating a figure into. Slowly. Oh, Amelie, look that up on Audible then. Because yeah, Sally said it was really good. You're brain dead after school and uni. That is completely fair. Have you poured yourself a cup of tea? This is chill art tea time. For sure. I was just thinking I should get myself a cider. It could be cider time, but no, I don't feel like a cider tonight. I had one last night. I think I had one last night. I had one the other night. This side's still a little weird because I put so much green into it before, but it's coming. It's getting there. You have tea and ice cream. Ooh, very nice. Yes, Mealy, get a cuppa. Yeah, yeah. Cozy night, cozy night. I have an ice cream for after this. That is my post-stream ice cream I'm gonna look forward to. Eating ice cream and painting is too hard. at the same time. White is still super stringy, this language white. I'm determined to use it because I bought the bigger tube, but it's just annoying. Like, it works fine once you put it on the board, but picking it up and putting it down, I keep ending up with all these goobers on my palette. Oh, you can't really see them. Sorry. I end up with goobers. Talia, you in your Udi, so you're like maximum cozy? All of our favourite streamers are now, well, a lot of them, are sponsored by Udi. Bry Supersaurus on Twitch and Dangerbeard, the Dangerbeard on Twitch, are both sponsored by Udi. So if you want to buy an Udi, you should go check them out for discount. Yay, discount. I think I have a thing. Do I have a thing? Do the thing. Yes, Mealy! Udi time! Yeah! There's a link for Bry. Is it gonna realize I did DB too? There's a link for DB! I'm not biased which one you pick to get your discount from. I'm pretty sure it's the same discount. But, yes. Yes, you are, Sally. Yay! Very comfy achieved! I am glad. I am glad. At some point, I will have to commit to the Udi family. I am saving for a camera, though. So that comes first. Because I know you guys want to see my weird goobers on my palette, which a better camera should be able to show us the weird goobers on my palette. This is the plan. For anyone who doesn't know, I have a Ko-fi link below in my description, where you can normally buy me a cup of coffee, but at the moment all of my caffeine money is going towards a new camera for the stream and for my YouTube videos. We're upgrading to a DSLR that can be used as a webcam, so that all of this will be in high res and you can see all the details, which is very pretty. So if you feel so inclined, there's a little Ko-fi link for you up there. Ko-fi.com/Liz Gridley artist. Yeah, and at the moment all my proceeds from art sales are also going towards there. So if you want to go on my website, lizgridley.com.au/shop, and if you have any art there that you would love to give a home to, proceeds from that will go towards the new camera as well. I think we're about 35% towards our goal. I have another artwork which is sold but is being paid off in installments, so those installments are slowly being added to the total, which is very exciting. Ooh, cranberry and pomegranate tea in your corgi Udi! Yay. Did you get the same? Because Bri has a corgi one, doesn't he? But he thought it was foxes. And he ended up with corgis. I thought that was hilarious. I think that's the one he has. I'm surprised there's not a dinosaur one. Thing is, he is a Supersaurus. Alright, what are we doing in this bit? I think I need to figure out where this elbow is a little better. Let me just figure that out. What's there? There. Cool. Oh, I think I put too much oil up here. It's very goopy. I'm gonna scrape some of it off on the brush and put it on my rag. If there's too much, the paint won't stay put. Blech. Yay! Yay! Yes, Neely, I've seen your parents' corgis. They're beautiful. Corgi pride. Have you taken a photo with them, with the corgis? That would have to be on the to-do list. Yes. Oh, you're so confused? I'm sorry. It has blurred somewhat, but there's going to be a head in there, and then she's sort of got her arms going up over her head. Much stretchier than I am. And then there's sort of boobs coming down here. That'll make sense. I'll put more color in a minute. I just wanted to sort of get the clouds established first. Which I sort of want to add a bit more color onto the clouds, but I can't push it too far because I need this layer to dry before I can layer up. But like, even that's much thicker paint up there now. And that's already making it much more robust color. Which is good. I like robust in here. Robust. Good word. But yeah, I want the clouds to be sort of like coming around her arms, as though they were like holding her arms. I'm not sure if they're holding her arms in a comforting way or an oppressive way yet. That will naturally happen, and then we will be surprised at the end. You had it the other way. What's the other way? Oh, now I'm going blurry-eyed looking at my own painting. Did you have it like their arms were like that or something? Like that. I don't know. My arms don't bend very good, and I'm wearing a jacket that's slightly too tight because I like how it looks. See this nice like plaid business? It's slightly too tight on my arms, so my arms don't really want to go above that. Warm though. Like facing the other way. Oh, so like the head was here. Like the front of the head was here. That makes sense. Yeah, because that does look more like a profile at the moment than the smudge down here. Yeah. Then the boobs would be on the back though. Back boobs. That's okay. That's the thing with Mr. Squiggle, is it's sort of fun before you find out what it is for your brain to just dance around and invent things. I really like that about Mr. Squiggle. Which actually, if anyone here is a member of our Discord, I have a section for Mr. Squiggle art. That was an idea we had for stream. I've got one submitted squiggle, where if you want to draw a Mr. Squiggle prompt, which is basically, you know, a couple of squiggles on a page, I was going to transpose them onto oil painting paper and try and turn them into something. So you're still absolutely welcome to submit those, because I haven't sort of chosen a day that I'm going to do those, but I figured once I got a couple, that it like would probably do, what, 3 in a stream, probably? Yeah, so anyone is welcome to submit a scribble for potential future Ms. Liz scribble art. Yeah. That was one of the first COVID things we did, Jess, was play scribbles. I don't know if I could draw upside down, Sally. I'm not as good as Mr. Scribble. I'm not from the moon. And I'm glad my easel doesn't yell at me, hurry up, all the time. Blackboard was so rude. Honestly, rushing an artist. So rude. If anyone doesn't understand what we're talking about, it's ABC children's culture from the 90s and 2000s. Alright, I definitely have to go into these clouds another day and add a lot more bright detail up here, because it gets like really close to white and I'm not going to be able to do that while everything's so wet. But I'll add the major forms and then we'll add more detail at a later date. But up here they're absolutely buzzing with detail, and then down here they get a lot quieter. So that's the main goal with today, is to get the map. Mr. Squiggle does perform very well under pressure. Did you know the end of the pencil nose was actually a big stick of charcoal? I did not know that. That was a cool fact, and I'm like, no wonder it always drew so well, because I found pencils are always like light grey, and they wouldn't come out dark black, and you have to push so hard. But no, because it was charcoal, it was like a big wampum stick that big in the nose, and you could take it out and replace it with bigger sticks when it wore down. I'm like, ha. Oh, I don't think I could paint with my nose, no. My nose is not that talented. There's some things only Martians from the moon can do. Wait, was he a Martian from the moon? That doesn't make sense. Martians are from Mars. I don't know. The man from the moon. That's what he was. He was technically a man. Better man than most. Yeah. But a very cool puppet. More white. Yeah. Alright, I know the camera's sort of overexposing in the corner here. I'm just trying to keep it bright up there. But it's the corner closest to the light bulb. And that's why it's hard to see the detail up there. Okay. Gradually fade. Cool. Okay. I think I'm going to have to rinse out this brush a bit. So, this is your chance, if you have not already, to get a cup of tea, to get an Udi or likewise comfy clothing on, and to get cozy. I'm going to wash this brush and be right back, and then we're going to get into the figure a little bit, putting in some base colours. So I'll be right back. Where's the screen? There. And we're back. Okay. Figure time. I'm going to get a slightly smaller. Yeah. Still a Filbert, but slightly smaller and stiffer, so I have more control. What am I going to do? I'm going to start with the darks, I think. Start with the darks? Yeah. Alright, so I want to mix up sort of a dark browny tone for her hair and things like that. That's sort of the darkest colours I'm seeing. Or red. Ooh, and I have a new red to try on the palette as well, so when we get some red sections. Checking measurements now to see the sketches in the right spot. Everything doesn't have to be perfect, but it still has to be sort of generally where it needs to be. Okay. Just gotta remember to check things as I go. Yeah. Now we've got a hand coming out here, which is the hand connected to this arm. So we've got to figure that out a little bit. It's going to be a bit there. And then coming down from the wrist. There. Yeah. Hands have so many angles. There was a point where I was painting almost exclusively hands for a while. I did this big series of like hands gripping bodies and hands doing shadow puppets and hands doing thumb wars and like rock paper scissors and stuff like that. And a lot of that was just because I struggled painting hands, so I did this whole series where I exclusively painted hands, and that made me feel a lot more confident about them. They were fun paintings too. I should really do another version of Choose Your Weapon, the rock paper scissors one. I really like that series. I'm pretty sure I sold at least 2 versions of that series. One that was painted on circles is at Little Buddy Cafe in Ringwood. And then another one is... I don't know where it is. It's sold. I'll be right back, guys. I'm so sorry, I left the mic off. Dipper's in here, our puppy just came in because Dad's gone to bed, so she's in here to be supervised. Is she there? You can see her head. Just there. Just there. That's a little puppy. Sorry about that, I turned the mic off when my husband came in for a second, but yes, she's gonna settle in here now while we have our chill painty times. She had a very big day at Uncle and Auntie's house, which was lovely. Apparently many sticks were defeated. Settle, sweetie. Settle time. Good girl. Settle. Keeps just walking to the door. Alrighty. Chin is gonna go about there. Yeah. Little Dipper. Very big mood for sticks today, there you go. Little sweet. Good girl. Little. Well, your house has the best sticks, so that makes sense. Our house is not as good for sticks. We've got bamboo sticks, but we had to dissuade her from pulling them out of the garden bed. Because that would not be good in the long term. Alright, let's find where this ear goes. I'm using what they call like the triangulation method for measuring, which is where you just sort of measure angles from one point to another. So like elbow to the ear is there. So that'll sort of round out a bit like that. And then like the top curve of the elbow goes to there, so that'll be sort of where the top of the ear goes. And then it'll sort of square off and come back down to there. Approximately. Her hair sort of poofs out here because it's messy ponytail business, which is fine. Give it a bit messy, we can always tidy it more later. Okay. And then that's the edge of arm. I want to fill in the detail of areas like the ear because I'd rather straight paint that once this layer dries. But we'll get some of the major shapes down. I'm gonna smooth out this bit a bit. I don't normally sort of sit here and lineate every digit, but I'm going to do it a little bit here just to give me a more accurate map for later. Because yeah, if any of this painting as it currently sits is going to blur a bit as it dries, this will give me a stronger guideline. And things like fingers, as much as I paint in shapes, they still sort of have a very linear structure. So outlines aren't the worst thing in the world. I'm picking up a lot of white that are used in the clouds, so I need to keep darkening what's on my brush. It's a normal problem with painting wet and wet, but that's okay. I know that just looks like weird lines, but they will be fingers eventually. Cool. Tip of our elbow is going to be. Got some mad foreshortening on this bit here, but that's fine. Foreshortening shouldn't be scary because you just flatten everything. Like I'm doing this thing where I close one eye and sort of fuzz everything and it just turns everything into flat shapes. So this is like a weird triangle with a kink that turns into a long rectangle. So like that's my long rectangle. It goes down to there. Sort of ends in clouds somewhere here. Long rectangle. And then here I've got a weird triangle sort of thing. And that's going to be how the very far away wrist turns into an elbow. Which I don't know if that makes sense at all when you're watching it, but that's what my brain's doing. I'm very much here to tell you what's going on in my brain, and hoping it makes sense. Hey. Oh, I just got an alert! Thank you so much, Mealy, for contributing to the camera fun. You're amazing. You're the best. Thank you! Shout out to Mealy. I think I do have a Mealy shout out. Do I have a Mealy shout out? Do the thing, do the thing. You're amazing. Mealybug is the best Mealy! It deserves all the good things. Yeah! Thank you so much. Okay. Settle, sweetie. I know I keep talking. Settle down. Good girl. Good girl. Thank you. I am very excited for the fancy things because I think it will make the live streaming more fun if you guys can see more detail of what I'm doing. Like, my face cam can continue to be this, like, 12-year-old tiny little webcam. As far as I'm concerned, it gives me a much better complexion, just plain white, you know? But the one on what I'm painting, I'd love for you guys to be able to see some more detail and see a bit more of the colour changes and that sort of thing. Like, this has been doing pretty well. What I'm using at the moment is a Logitech webcam that I bought last year, which is a much more up-to-date one. But it still struggles with colour control and overexposure. As you can see with up here, I've got my LED panel, sort of up here, and anything close to that overexposes. Which I might end up getting a softbox or creating a softbox for that as well. I did used to have a big piece of foamy stuff that I put over it, and because it's an LED, it doesn't get hot, so that's okay. But Dipper did not like the big sheet of foamy stuff because it moved. So, gotta find something the puppy likes as well. Okay, so do we see an arm there now? I know it's divided in half, but that will be an arm, and I'm very excited about that elbow. I love painting elbows and knees. They're such interesting, weird shapes, and they're so different on everyone, so I'm very excited. I'm going to put some red in on that tip of the elbow. Oop. That's very brown, but you get the idea. That's going to be the tip of our elbow, which will be quite fun. Alright, let's find the rest of the face. I'm just going to get a little bit more... No, I'm not going to get more medium because puppy is comfy. Alright, I'll wait just open. So I'm going to switch to slightly lighter tones now that we're moving across this side because the light's all coming from this direction. And I don't want to use these dark tones over here because they're going to overpower everything. So let's find... Does that look weird when I'm measuring? I keep aiming the brush at the camera like that. I only just noticed that. I'm just measuring these angles. Or I sort of lock my wrist in and make sure that the angle is coming out nice and comparative to the reference. Boobs need to come in a bit. I love painting with you guys. I always feel fast when I'm painting on stream compared to when I'm painting by myself. Good girl. I might actually see if the dog needs to go out because she's gone to the door 3 times now. So I will be right back. And I'm back. She legitimately walked 2 steps towards the outside door and then veered right into her crate and went straight to bed. She's had enough. She's ready for bed. Okay. Her bedtime's normally 10, so she's going to bed early, but she decided that's fine. So I put her to bed, tucked her in, brushed her teeth. Alright, now I'll get more medium because I won't be disturbing her. So this is the new medium. It's the Gamblin solvent-free fluid. It's $44.95 at my art shop, but this is the extra big bottle, which is 500ml. I tend to buy big bottles because they're just so much better value, but only when I'm 90% sure I'll like it. Which this one, Gamblin used to do little free samples, so I did have a free sample to try, which was really nice. Although we haven't gotten any samples from them in ages, which stinks. The samples are great for artists to make decisions. I encourage them. Okay, what were we doing? We were finding the face. Finding the face. See, itching my head with my paintbrush. Yeah, that looks really weird as the inside of the elbow, but it will make sense when everything around it is in. What if there's this big one bit here? Okay. I don't really need to outline the outside of the arm because it's sort of already there. I'm going to use my plain paintbrush to smush it out a little bit and make it a bit more curved. That's good when you change brushes to still keep the brush from the last section, because sometimes you need to use it again. So I took all the paint out of this brush, but it's still wet from the oil. And that's quite helpful for this sort of nudging, line nudging. Yeah, that's not too bad. I almost saturated the canvas a little bit too well, because some of my lines, when I feel like they're pretty solid, they're still fuzzing out a bit, like these down here are fuzzing out a bit, so I may have to let it dry flat tonight and tomorrow before I come back to it, just to make sure my lines don't shift down the board too much. Like some of them I want to fuzz out, these ones that are very strong, so that they're easier to meld with the next layer of paint, but I don't want all my drawing to smush too much, if that makes sense. Alright. Using the top of an ear. hairline sort of goes. Stray lines and things. That's all details, that'll be added later. Adjusting my colours slightly. It's almost like you're testing out colours at this stage, because nothing of this figure is committed really, but I can test out little colours as I'm doing my sketching lines if I want to. I prefer to, as opposed to that was wrong. Elbow collided with my leg and changed the angle completely. That was not helpful. It's a bit wrong. Yeah. There's little points here where like one part of the body interrupts the other, but like the line of the arm, so there I'm negotiating with get off the canvas. Get off. What I get for patting the puppy. Okay. Cool. Yeah, so like the elbow here goes behind her forehead, before her temple. And at the moment, forehead looks way too big. So yeah, that was wrong. The hairline has to come down to here. So that's the length of her forehead there. And it goes in there. Which makes sense because a lot of the time the eyebrow lines up with the top of the ear. Which if I sort of go like that, the eyebrow sort of lines up with the top of the ear. That's good. Cool. Oh. Hard when you're a kid, they tell you so many rules like that, like, oh, the eyes are one eye distance apart, so it should be like eye, all the same distance, and the eyebrow lines up at the top of the ear, and this, that, and the other thing, but it really is different from person to person. They're guidelines, they're not rules. So you've still always got to measure. Otherwise everyone sort of starts looking the same. Like this girl, she's got a very prominent lip. The chin is like very bulbous chin with very bulbous lip. So with that, it's going to look exaggerated, but that's actually how she is, and that's fine, because I'd rather paint her how she is than adjust her to a more general look. Alright, I'm going to go back to measuring, because I was just freehanding that, and that's kind of asking for disaster. So bottom of the ear. Mouth should be somewhere there, and the mouth is straight, or like there. Yeah. Oh, you see it now? Yay! Makes more sense. Can I get more stuff in? Yeah, so there's like an armpit hiding in here. This is the hard thing when you want to cover parts of the body, you've got to remember where those anatomy bits are. As well. And this is all going to be dark red back here. I'm just reminding myself. Yeah. Alright, let's find that nose. I often like to find the mouth and the eyes first before putting in the nose, because otherwise the nose tends to stretch down the bottom of the face, and I tend to lose that measurement of where the bottom of the face is. So actually, let's find the chin as well. So then that's solid. So using the bottom of the ear again as a measuring point. Sort of coming out there from the arm. Very straight. Oh. 'Cause, 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 on the cheek and almost straight down. Chin here. Yeah, that lip was very bulbous. We'll figure out. Something like that. Dark shadow here. Plonk that in. I've got all these nice lines of the neck coming down. So this is that muscle that's sort of in between your boob and your shoulder. There's sort of that triangle shape that comes down. That's what this whole section is. Sorry, tell me if I'm boring you talking too much about the weird anatomy shapes. So, and then this is the middle of the neck where it sort of goes into that little dip. I just want the lines to make sense to you guys a bit. Because that's the thing sometimes when people are painting and I watch along as I'm sort of like, what the heck are you painting? And then suddenly it makes sense and I'm like, oh, that's what it is. It's fascinating? Okay, cool. As long as it's interesting. I strive to be helpful and as an art tuber. Tuber. Oh, Amelia, you know, you're all part of the whole Tasty Tubes thing over at Liam Draws, aren't you? Because, did you see in the Discord the other day, I was at the post office and someone ordered an entire box of Tasty Tubes now that they're back. And then literally the next day I went to the grocery store and the lady in front of me was buying like 3 bags of them. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm being haunted by Tasty Tubes. You're learning, yay! Yay. We like learning here. We like chatting about all the weirdness that is painting. The strange chemistry magic of it all. I'm glad. I just wanted to put in that spot there because there's this really nice purpley red colour there and I wanted to experiment. And that's the thing sometimes is I'll stop what I'm doing to just play with a spot where I've noticed a colour and I'm like, oh, I want to remember this awesome colour is here. That's gonna highlight the face. I need to find the notes. Okay. Then he's obtaining you more tubes. You've got a tube dealer. Then he's amazing. Oh, what a good tube dealer. I wonder if she's the one who ordered it from my post office somehow. I don't know why you'd order it from Bayswater, but you know, sure. If it works. If it gets Mealy the tubes. I'm down for it. Do you need me to send some? There are plentiful tubes here. I can send some. Where's the base of the nose? Using that same ear. My measuring tool. That's the base of the nose. Yeah, it definitely sort of comes out a bit. And then immediately turns back in. Noses are weird shapes. They're great, but they're weird. A local convenience store has them. Ah, that's so good. Well, they are tasty, so that is kind of the point. If you didn't eat them all, I would claim that you didn't actually like them. Would that not make sense? I mean, you could maybe spread it out a little bit more next time, but... Great shadow coming off in a nose. Gonna be big shadow here, which almost gives more form to her nose than this little side bit does, just because it's such a prominent dark area, and then we're going to have this little light area before the lip. Also feeds into this eyebrow socket. I know it's a whole bunch of weird shapes in her face, but it will make sense. One bit of dark on the forehead that comes into play up here, so I'm gonna remind myself that's there so it's not just one big light chunk. The face is looking very small and I don't know if that's correct, so I'm just going to check some measurements. Correct. Measuring correct. It's definitely probably something that'll adjust as I go. I think my chin's a bit small and things like that, so it's generally enough correct. A bit. Loosey-goosey, painty-wainty, whatever. Like timey-wimey, but with paint. Yeah. We've only been going for an hour and a half. Wow. I feel like we've been going a lot longer. Alright, let's get some of these dark reds in to these shadowy areas, because I did say ages ago I'll start with the darks. And then I started plotting a whole sketch. Just slopping it in, and then we can mess with it once it's in. Don't know if I'll go around the whole figure, but get in some general dark shapes, move my way to the lights. If I have to leave the lights for a whole period to dry, then that's fine as well. Like for example, for the ear, I might just block it in red, because it is mostly red, and then we'll add detail next time. But at least that's a base colour to build off. Not sure if I'll do the same thing with the fingers, we'll see. Hey Kat, how you doing? How's painting? Painting, drawing, selling, taking photos of everything, all the things. That's been very productive lately. I can vouch. We started this painting tonight. Can you believe how fast I'm being? I can't believe how fast I'm being. Very unlike me to be this fast. But you guys encourage me and give me adrenaline, and I very much appreciate that. Painting efficiently. Ish. Pure madness in that house. And in the best of ways, I'm sure. Yeah. In a lot of ways, this colour I'm putting down at the moment feels too dark, but I know it's not too dark. It's just the fact that I'm putting it onto white. It feels so dramatically different. But I know it's right. Oh, you found another box of mini paintings? Good work! Were you the one who was telling me you're part of a postcard art show? Or was that someone else telling me there was one that they found that they were doing? Because mini paintings at the moment, a lot of people seem to be doing mini painting shows online. Yeah! It is a little bit strong. Strong painting on. Not part of a postcard call. Yeah, keep an eye out. There's a lot of postcard shows happening. Or like mini art, mini painting shows. I know some place in LA just did a like 5x5 show where everything was like tiny. So that was a cool one. One of my friends was a part of that, which was awesome. And well, yeah, I just sent one of my biggest paintings to Adelaide over here, and it wasn't as expensive as I thought, but that's only because my boss was super nice and let me send it through work. So using the work account, it was much cheaper than if I was doing independent freight, because I don't have a freight account, being an individual person. It's amazing how much freight is cheaper when they're like, oh, all you need to do is spend $2,000 with us for a month and you get everything way cheaper. And I'm like, I'm never going to spend $2,000 a month with a freight company individually, but work does. So my boss was lovely to let me do that. So yeah, it still cost me like $100 to send, but I packed it myself using recycled stuff, and that saved a lot of money. Hopefully it gets there safely. You're just reading an article about preferred painting sizes. Ooh, I wonder what that says about large versus small art. $2,000. What's $2,000? I missed that. Did I say $2,000? I'm confused. I sent 2 paintings. Yeah, I have a feeling this oil is too wet. All of my lines are blurring. That I just placed all here. Let me zoom in and I can show you. Freight shipping. No, about 100, like 100, not grand. I know Australia's big, but it's not that big. See how all my lines are going like fuzzy? That's the oil shifting, because obviously it's not dry, but it's not thin enough to stay put where I'm putting it, and gravity's affecting it. So I think once I finish putting in the darks, I'm going to have to let this one sit, and we might have to play with my other painting for the rest of tonight. Because I don't want to add so much colour that it all smushes together into mud. No, the $2,000, that's what it was. So, like, yeah, most large freight companies in Australia, you can only have a freight account if you spend a certain amount with them a month, which can be about $2,000 minimum. And the freight account, as opposed to a one-off purchase, means you get discounted rates. Yeah. So for businesses, like, obviously I work for an art shop, so they sell art supplies for all around Australia. They sell, you know, $2,000 worth of freight easily in a month. But I'm lucky, like, if I send out 2 or 3 things a month, that's my go-to. Aside from Oiltober, and even then they're all small works, I'm lucky to be sending out 2 or 3 things a month total. And that's to competitions and to sales. That's like my whole kit and caboodle. So I'm never going to meet the thresholds that other small business, large businesses can for those kind of discounts, which is pain. But that's okay. It's just something to be conscious of when you're quoting places, is that sometimes you look at some quotes and you're like, how does anyone afford to send anything? And it's the fact that there's all these background deals for people depending on how much they spend on average. Because yeah, one place I quoted was $300 to send it 1 state over. And I was just like, $300 is so expensive. Like when I sent my piece to America, that was going to cost me $600 and the piece was smaller. And like, I know from Australia to America is a really far away, but that's still so expensive. And considering I only had the piece priced at $1,600, I'm like, that's a third of my artwork price eaten up in freight, and I just couldn't justify it. But I did find a place that was a bit cheaper for that one, which was good, but it was still expensive. International freight is a special kind of ouch. No, I just said I wasn't going to do all the different shades, but I just want to test this transition. Straight to the yellowy tone. But yeah, I have oversaturated the background with oil. I think it's because this board had a bit of grit. It took more oil than I thought to get it moving. And now all that oil is in all the ridges of the grit, and that's what's moving. So... lesson learned, don't oversaturate gritty boards. And learned. That's okay. That's what stops you going to Europe Fair? Yeah. Yeah. Europe. I haven't sent anything to Europe except for tiny, tiny small works, so that would, I'm sure, be very expensive. Because yeah, I sold one small work to someone in Ireland a little while ago. Last year. This one, it's called a pastel board. It's by Ampersand. I'd normally buy their gesso board surface, but I had to buy the pastel board because I needed this size in particular, because I can't get framing done at the moment because of our lockdown that we're going through here in Melbourne because of our COVID cases spiking. So I found a frame which is exactly this size for another work, and I know I can get two of them. So that's why I had to paint on another board the same size. And like, I've painted on the pastel boards before. They're just a little bit grittier and textured than the gesso boards, which I prefer. But they're absolutely fine. They're still an acrylic primed hardboard surface, so fine for oil painting. But I'm using a new medium tonight as well. And painting in a way I normally don't paint, which is saturating. Painting in a way that I normally don't paint on pastel board, which is saturating the board. So I could move around and do a bit of cloudscape action. So yeah, lots of learning happening tonight with this surface. I'm definitely enjoying how these purples and reds plays off the blues. I think they're a lot of fun. It's more these yellows that I'm bringing in. I think will have to be a bit more gutsy. Yeah, like that. Just sort of work. With gutsy yellows. The problem with gutsy yellows when I've got so much blue hanging around is they sometimes want to turn green, so I don't want to overdo it. That is looking cool though, I like that transition. I think I'm hitting the point where this board needs to lie flat so these lines stop buzzing. So we might switch over to the other painting and play with that. Which is also on a pastel board, but it already has 4 layers of paint on it, which makes a huge difference in how the paint moves and adjusts. Let me switch over. Lying flat overnight, she should be fine. And this is the one I brought up at the start, but I'm sort of... yeah, I like it, I just want to tweak it So let me bring up my reference photo. I did actually already show this once, and I can show you how it looked originally. And that was before I bought that amazing Holbein pink paint. The, what is it? Quinacridone Opera. Which I've kind of fallen in love with. So let me show you the original version of this painting. Excuse me. There's a weird hiccup sniff. Alright. Just going over here. That's how this painting looked originally. So it was much less vibrant and it was a full blue sky. And I just felt it was too dark and the circles were a bit too subtle. Now saying that, I think they're currently too strong. I really like how the background works now with the pink. And I like how the pink has made her hair brighter. Oops, sorry, wrong screen. But yeah, I want to change some of the colours in the face and integrate a bit more yellow, I think, to warm it up a bit. Yeah, and add a bit more strength to the light sections. I feel like in the forehead and stuff it's a fair bit wishy-washy. So that's where we're at the moment with it. So, and yeah, I feel like these silver, because it's metallic silver, they're just too strong. What do I need? Alright, I don't know what to do with the circle, so let's just play with the face. Let me get my reference photo up. So this one's for the same show, which is called Human Condition. And the dates have changed, unfortunately, for it, but yeah, being called Human Condition, there's a lot of sort of how are people processing this year, how are people processing last year, that kind of mood. And this selfie that my sister took, and I'm very thankful for this one, was sort of between two emotions, between this sort of grief and acceptance. And I really like how the expression is sort of mixed. So I called this piece Between Two Spaces, and that's what the two circles overlapping sort of represent. Yeah, and that's where I'm sort of going with this, is that I want to strengthen that expression and just create a bit more luminosity in the face, so it really comes forward to you. Which I know on screen it looks like it's really coming forward, but in person it's looking a bit dull. So I'm gonna start up here in the forehead. Yeah. It just needs, I think, more paint on it in general. I think I was a bit thin on the paint when I did the colour the first time. Slightly blur the inner edge of the circles, yeah? Oh, hey Joe, how you going? It is a mood, for sure. And that's what, like, when my sister was taking these selfies, she went through a whole gamut of emotions. And it's very easy to feel the emotion of the moment, I think, at the moment. We're all a bit raw. So I was very thankful that she was able to tap into that for these references for me. How are you, Joe? How's your day? I'm sorry, you just missed. We started another piece. And I hit the point where I couldn't add more paint without messing with what I'd already done. So we've switched over to this piece now. Which just needs some finessing, I think. What we're working on. I'm going to strengthen some of the colours and the expression and the luminosity. I feel like I'm putting makeup on it because it's coming out stronger. As by design, but feels like I'm putting on makeup. Oh, you got your father today. Congratulations. Oh, and you're officially halfway through moving. Congratulations. That's awesome. Congrats on the jabby jab and doing the moving. I do apologize if your arm hurts tomorrow while you're moving, because I found after my first jabby jab, my arm hurt. And I normally sleep on that arm, so that was a poor choice on my part. Ooh, the highest number of paintings I've worked on in a single session. Probably 3 or 4 would be my top. Because otherwise you're not sort of concentrating enough on one piece if you're switching a whole bunch. I definitely often work on 2 in a session, especially if one sort of hits a point and I've still got energy, like I do at the moment. Like at the moment I'm still raring to paint, even though I've hit that point on the other painting where I can't sort of keep adding to it. So 2 is more normal, but yeah, I have worked probably up to 4 at once, especially when I was getting ready for my solo show. I'd sort of just fiddle with a bunch of them at once. Yeah. Yeah. It's sort of interesting working on multiple paintings, because even if they're in similar styles, they're all very different beasts, and you've got to treat them completely as unique objects, and it's almost like working on 4 essays at once. You've sort of got to put yourself on different headspaces for each one. And you got to remember where you left off, all that sort of jazz. And make it a bit complicated when popping. There are exceptions to that though, like when you're working on a series of very, very similar paintings and you do all the backgrounds at once and then you do all, you know, the sketches at once. That can be a good way to work, the sort of conveyor belt style. I don't often work in that way, but sometimes I do. Also, if it's a commission for someone, I tend to work that way just so everything's consistent. Yeah. Feels like a small bruise at the moment. Will probably feel like a big bruise tomorrow, but that's just my experience with it, but it's okay. That's where you get other people to lift the heavy things for you. Yeah? And you make tea for everyone. Yeah. How long have you got to move across? Have you got a good window? The thing I always find stressful with moving is sort of coordinating the in one house whilst coordinating the out of the other house at the same time. Is frustrating sometimes. Okay, so all the brights are looking a bit better. I think I need to switch to a smaller brush and be a bit more thoughtful. Brush. Depends on the weather. Oh, that's very fair. Yeah, with the trailer, that's very weather dependent. Good point. Are you moving all of it or just everything but the big stuff? Big stuff is hard. It's annoying it's during COVID times because you can't just ask for a whole bunch of us to turn up and help. Oh, I like that colour so much better on the lips. I've just muted it a bit, made it more terracotta. It's subtle, but it's more natural. Yeah, Sally, you did not have fun weather when you moved last year. Haliexes are tricky. Sally had one of those. Sally, yours is a 5x5, isn't it? Or is it a 6x6? It's huge. You want another one? Sally's selling hers. Very patchy. Saturday looks promising. Sunday's a washout. Ugh. Well, Sunday's pizza in the new house day then. For sure. If you have not already done so. Pizza in the new house is always a fun tradition. Good way to settle in together. Yep. Sally, is yours a 5x5 or a 6x6? Is a 6x6 a thing? It just seems bigger in my head. Sorry, I'm just gonna move my chair closer. I'm realizing I'm leaning. I was painting with my whole arm before, and now I'm painting with just my wrist. Actually, where's my mouse? I'll stick. There we go. So I reckon I'm just going to move through one feature at a time now. I'm going to start with the nose, and then gradually work my way through. I might zoom you guys in too. 5x5. Oh, cool. Yeah, Joe, this one's got a fair few layers on it. I think it's got sort of 3 or 4 layers on it, which is why it's so nice and vibrant. And I went over all the pink with Quinacridone Opera, which is my new favourite pink. I can show you. I don't think you were here before. I was showing. This is what the painting. Ooh, wait, what happened to my picture? Nope. This one. I'll find it again. One sec. There we go. This is what the painting used to look like. So I painted it earlier this year, and I showed it once looking like this, but it wasn't right. It wasn't right. Something about the circles were too faint, and the background just wasn't the right colour, and it just was a bit NQR. So that's why I've changed the background. I've strengthened the circles. I think the circles are a bit too strong now, so I might dull them out to either blue or pink or something. And yeah, I just want to strengthen the face in general, so it's a bit more glowy. Glowy and luminous, like we like skin to be in this studio. Yeah, so that's what we're working on tonight. And then it's just one of those things where I thought the piece was right, and I showed it, and then I was like, no, the piece isn't right. And I'm never scared, or rather not that phased, where if I'm 100% sort of NQR on something, I'm happy to keep playing with it and changing things. You don't always get everything right first time, and that's fine. The good thing about oils is you can always chuck another layer on. She did look more sad the way it was before, but I think that was more because the paint was thin and sort of wishy-washy, and I'd rather she look sadder because that's what I've painted than just an effect of not enough paint, if that makes sense. Might also be because I've only like repainted one section of the face. I haven't sort of got around the whole thing yet. She's meant to be in between two expressions, so in between sort of grief and acceptance. So I don't want it to just be 100% sad. Sad. I want it to have some contemplative thought behind the eyes. Which I know is asking a lot, but you know, that's what figurative painting's all about. A lot of yourself and then trying to represent it, and then questioning yourself a whole bunch as to whether it is doing what you want it to do. And eventually standing back and go, yes, I love it. Perfect. Or meh, I'm putting it in the corner for another day. One of the two. Yeah, I'll try and post a before and after of this one in the Discord tomorrow. So then you can sort of see how it compares to how it was originally. Like, obviously the background's very different, but the face should hopefully show its nuances a bit more in a daytime photo than it may on webcam. Because yeah, a lot of these whites are blowing out a bit. I can try turning the light down. Is the thing. But it doesn't sort of really help because the webcam can only do so much. I'm gonna turn it back up so I can see properly. There we go. I can see! Which is important. That is too bright. Yeah, coming back to working on multiple projects at once. Everyone else with their crafts and things tend to work on more than one at once. Sally, I know with knitting and crocheting and all that, you tend to have a few projects on the go at once. Although at the moment it's more macrame and what are the other things you're doing? You're doing like the poofy embroideries. What do you call that? Hey Dee! How you going? Yeah, I've painted Sally's portrait a bunch of times for gallery pieces. I think I've still painted Sally more than I've painted Vicky, in general. But yeah, I did this one piece on copper that was in a Mother's Day show, on a circle and things like that. It is a familiar face, you know my model. I've hit that point last year and this year where I have asked some friends for selfies to paint from, and my sister was more than obliging, and she did very well with this very expressive, emotional moment. I'm very thankful. At the moment you're working on absolutely nothing. Punch needle, that's what poofy embroidery is. See, I know names for things. Poofy embroidery is punch needle. Yes. Yeah, Dee, this is with my new fluoro pink that I was playing with the other week. So all the background and in her hair, I've integrated that quinacridone opera, which is really cool. The circle one's still at your place? Have you hung it up or is it in storage? If you run out of storage space, I can always store it here again. But yeah, I really like that one of you. It's pretty. You found large boxes of UFO craft projects. Well, there you go. You're ready to go in the new house. You know where they all are. Oh, there's heaps of subjects I haven't painted yet that I want to yet. I've got an idea in my head of one of a fruit bat sort of falling out of the sky in front of a cloudscape for some reason. I don't know why, but that's one that I really want to do. I had one I thought of two of my mates who are musicians as sort of like ghostly figures, sort of fading into air just because of like how the music industry's been kind of forgotten in all the support packages and everything this year, and like performance in general is dying. That was a recent thought. I don't know, I get them all the time and then I put them in my phone and forget about them until something, and I'm like, that's right, that was an idea I wanted to do. Problem with a lot of them is like finding the right reference or getting the right reference. Like, I've had a photo shoot in mind at an aerial studio for like 2 years now. Going on 3 years. And I booked the aerial studio and then my photographer friend had a heart issue. So we called that off and then he got better and we sort of semi-arranged it again, and then COVID happened. And we sort of haven't booked it in since, but I've still got my deposit at the aerial studio, so the space is paid for. It's the organising the models and everything that I've got to do when the time is right. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that when we eventually get there, because then I can get a lot more anti-gravity figures playing with space and stuff, which I love to do. Yeah. You reckon Vicky's been in more paintings than you? I don't think so. It's in the laundry with a whole lot of other things. Yeah, that's fine. I'll store it at my house if you're worried it'll get damaged. Because I've got a whole wardrobe just for painting storage at the moment. Painting storage and art supply storage, that is what that wardrobe is for. So I can chuck it in there, that's fine. You failed to find more time in the day. Ooh, I wouldn't mind some of those hours. Do those hours come with not being tired? Because that would be the other thing, is if you had more hours in the day that were guaranteed you do not feel tired for those hours, I would love some of those hours. They would be great. Because if I'm going to feel tired, they're less helpful to me. That's my only problem. Oh, Sally, you want some of those hours too? Fair enough. Puffy embroidery makes sense. It looks like embroidery, but it's puffy. It's totally logical. Thank you. I stand by it. Punch needle does not sound like what it looks like. Punch needle sounds violent and not puffy. I understand that is the tool, but it is not the result. Kimberly, you finished your nails! Do you want me to show them off to the class? I'd be happy to. Get to the right bookmark. I have too many bookmarks. Discord. Yeah. Yeah. Show us your work. Ooh. Ooh, they fancy. Ooh. Oh, hold on. I need to change screen. Change screen. Look at the fancy. They're very unicorny. Oh, look at them. They're gonna look so cool in daylight too. Very pretty. Well done. All the points for the pretty nails. Oh, now I want to do my nails. Now I want to do my nails. My nails are just boring at the moment. I broke a whole lot of them at work. Stupid weak nails. Which was a pain because I was growing them out for a while. But they will grow again. Oh, thank you, Dee. I can change screens. That is how fancy we get here. I still haven't figured out alerts. I pulled open stream elements today to try and figure out alerts, but I only gave myself like 10 minutes to do it, and I'm like, nope, nope, nope. We'll have to figure that out on another day. I made some really ugly alerts, and I need to spend time making them pretty before figuring out how to make them work. You know, priorities. Yeah, but just because they're fake doesn't mean they're not awesome. I would do fake, except I have no idea how to take them off and all that sort of thing. I'm not talented enough for any of that. That is true, Sally. You could have one pretty hand. Because guitar, you only need one hand that suffers, right? The other hand can be your party hand. Party pretty hand that you hold things in for Instagram photos. Yes, the little prompt reminders come back every time I load the screen. So there's a sub one and a Ko-fi one. Yeah! But they're not technically alerts, they're just timed little pop-ups every time I switch back to the screen. So they're not as fancy as proper alerts. So that was me sort of cheating the system a bit and figuring out how to do one thing and going, that'll do. I need to spend more time just working on the actual stream itself, but most of the time I feel like painting. That's the problem here. Is that when I have the time to sit down and work on the stream, a lot of the time I'm like, but I could be painting. Good old art guilt. We'll get there though, fam. And that's what, like, the new camera will make the hugest difference when we get there, which we will get there. If not by October, at the end of October, if I can sell some of my Oiltober works again, that would be great. Does everyone here know that I'm doing Oiltober again this year? So last year and the year before, I did one work a day for 31 days, all on Dodgy paper, which is handmade paper from here in Melbourne. Dodgy Roger is making me a custom batch this week, actually. I need to check out his stream tomorrow. He's on Twitch and all that sort of thing as well, if you want to watch him hand making paper, which is great, under Dodgy Paper, as his name. But yes, so in October I'll be doing one piece a day. I am going to stream a bit more than usual. And at all different times, so we'll be doing lots of videos, and then I'll do like one YouTube video a week, which will be a quick time lapse of all the pieces that I've done for that week. Yeah. And then, oh, now all the pieces, rather than use someone else's prompts, everyone will be allowed to submit their own prompts during September. So keep an eye out on my Instagram for when I start asking for prompts, and I'll probably ask in the Discord as well, because you guys are such good Discord fam. Oh, Mealy, heading off. No worries. Thank you so much for studying and chilling with us. Thank you so much for contributing to the new camera fund through my Ko-fi account. You're amazing. And it's lovely to have you here. It always is. You have a lovely night. Bye. Mealy is the best, Mealy. Having one party hand is not weird. It's cool to have a party hand. This is my note-taking hand. Does that count? This is all the notes about the money I owe my boss for rating and things. And then this is my tidy hand. YouTube thumbnail hand model. So I have an organized hand and a vanity hand. Which is my painting hand. Vanity. I'm glad you feel pretty good. That's the best part when you get your nails done, or when you do them yourself, is you just walk around for a while just being like, pretty, and play with them. You can take some good selfies doing like the hands on your face thing. Hold various things around your house, take some good nail photos. Especially because that design you've gone with, like with the pearlescent, and they move in the light. They're just fun to play with. Feel free to play and enjoy now that you've got the beautiful creations on your hands. You've done very, very awesome work. Pose in the mirror! Do the thing! Yes. Good. I'm like that when I put makeup on, because I put like proper makeup on so rarely. When I do, like the other day on Instagram, and I'm like, I'm actually gonna take selfies today. I feel pretty. I had a lot of fun with that. It was nice. It was a bit of a mood booster after the world being so the world lately. And again, completely vain and narcissistic, but I don't care. Whatever gets you dopamine. Go for it right now. Yeah, at the moment there isn't much to get pretty for, except for yourself and feeling pretty, which is completely legit. I like getting pretty without pressure to feel pretty. Because, like, you know when you go to a wedding or something like that, you, like, feel pressure to pretty, as opposed to when you're just doing it for fun. Doing it for fun is more fulfilling that way. Yeah. Alright, I got in a concentraty lodge there. I think what took away the sad was I got rid of all the colour underneath her eye, so that'll slowly come back. Interesting, because there's so much colour already on the board, but I'm just seeing more and more in the reference picture, so I'm just trying to slow down and really let myself paint in what I see. I've got to remember not to jump around too much, and I've already jumped from the nose to the lips back up to the eye. Because the more I jump around, the more I'll forget what I started elsewhere. Okay. Lots of colour directly under her eyes, because that's where it's all blood rushing to. I think I've got to strengthen the colour in her eyes as well. Like in the whites of her eyes. It's still a dark colour, but it just needs to be stronger. Right. Okay. The whites of your eyes are just like anything but white. They're such annoying things because they're never really actually white and you want them to be brighter than they are. Like these, they're like blue and yellow really, without being green. Outside fully blue. Way too bright. swanky little area, this one. Yeah, I think I'm going to go a little bit later than usual tonight, guys, because I'm getting into this now, so if you have to go to bed or head off, I completely understand, but thank you so much for joining me. I normally finish about 10 o'clock, but I'm in the zone. I want to make sure hubby gets a good night's sleep tonight because he had a rough day. So, not in a super hurry. Go bug him. Getting into bed. Yeah, it does feel like a bit of a groove, which is lovely. I think it's just one of those things. I know this one is going to take a lot of fiddling. And now that I've started, I'm like, yeah, I can see where I need to go. Before I started playing with the skin, I knew I wanted to mess with it, but I couldn't really see where and what. I just knew I knew it wasn't right. Okay. It's all a process of fiddling now. Figure it out. Yeah, nothing's really fundamentally wrong with the sketch. It's more just the colours, the relationships between certain areas, and how they're working together is in QR. And it's nothing major, it's all subtle little things. It's even harder to identify. I'm done. Hopefully the piece will be stronger, because that's what I want. Yeah, I'm sorry you had a rough day too. They happen. Which stinks. Thank you. No worries. Enjoy the cookie order. And you're going to the art store. Ooh! Yeah, the art store's like that. That's my problem with working there, is I have to go there even when I definitely don't need to buy art supplies, and it's still just as dangerous. I found out we're going to be stocking something that I've looked at on the internet like 10 times, and I'm like, get one in for me, I'll buy it for myself for Christmas. Have you guys seen it on the internet? It's called a hovel. It's like a really fancy solid brass sharpener that like is in a little stand and you just run your pencil against it to sharpen. It's really cool. It's exorbitant. It's like made by, what's the brand called? It's not, they make the iris, which is like a brass circle that you rotate to make tiny little circles and bigger ones. Yeah, it's good dangerous. Art shops are fun dangerous. Fun danger. Fun danger. No, that doesn't work. Yeah, so I sort of want the sharpener. I wouldn't use the circle thing because it doesn't make circles this big. If it made circles this big, I'd be much more into it, but it only makes like little ones up to like that big, which I'm like, that's not useful for me. It'd be useful if you were like an illustrator, especially one that works small, but or like an architect and things like that, which I think is who they cater to more. Yeah, they do a lot of Instagram and Facebook advertising. And yeah, one of our suppliers is stocking them now, so that means that we can stock them. Which is cool. They're definitely sort of Christmas present fodder, because you normally wouldn't spend sort of $3 on a sharpener. But it's a pretty sharpener. It works real good. She had one I could test out, and that was what sold me. Oh, you saw that? Shh, that was a Christmas present idea. Shh. I don't want the circle thing. I want the brass sharpener thing. Although, I'll buy it, because I work at the art shop, so I get stuff discount. So no. No, Sally, that one's in my idea. No, not made by Montmartre. Which actually, like, a lot of the Montmartre stuff has gotten better, I will admit. Their suppliers are doing a lot more work now than they originally did. Because it's like, originally it was just one company they used out of China to make super cheapy things, and now they use a bunch of different companies, and like their brushes are a lot better quality than they used to be, so I don't snub the Montmartre stuff as much as I used to. I refuse to call it Montmartre though, because it really isn't from France, so Montmartre it is. Because that makes it sound like what it is, which is Chinese made, Australian imported, $2 shop art supply brand. Which granted is now a bit better. It's now at the same level as like the old Riot Art and Craft home brand stuff for sure. But yeah, don't buy from Riot though, because they stuffed over all their stuff. Never buy from Riot online. They're the worst. You can buy from the Art Shed, they sell all the Montmartre stuff, they're fine. And I even like my blue journals that I use, they're Montmartre ones, because I just wanted a big, solid, hard-bound book, and they were cheap, so they're the standard journal that I use, because they were cheap and easy, and I could get a bunch of them, and that was a Christmas present I got with some extra journals for when I need them, so I've got a few banked up for the next journals. So they're all matchy. Thanks to a certain lovely gifter in the chat there, Sally. Night, Cat! Oh, have a good day, Cat! See you next week. I'll be doing the morning stream next week. On the Thursday. Oh, no worries, Kimberly. Thank you so much for joining us and showing us your beautiful nail talents. They're gorgeous. And not a problem. Always happy to help. If you've got questions ever, just fire them off in the chat. You know me, I like to just chat. So, have a lovely night. And thanks for joining us. Yay. Yeah. Yes, any questions? I can always say I don't know. I am not Google, I am allowed to not know. But I can always try. I'm definitely someone who likes to try. Don't ask me what square root of pi is to like 40 decimal places, because I cannot be bothered Googling that. Be like trying to talk in binary, you just lose your mind. Oh. My mail stick, it's fine. Nobody knows or cares. Yeah, sure. That works. Dangerfield's here! Hey, DV! DV. That's not 40 places. Hey, DV, guess what? I was spruiking your Oodies before. If anyone needs an Oodie, here's the guy to go to. It's a typo negative lyric? That's amazing. That's great. E, how are you? How is your evening? Have you been throwing marbles over at Bri? I was watching him do stuff before. Yes, I have a bot. I haven't figured out alerts yet, but I've figured out, like, commands a little bit. I have some commands. I think Mealy already had it off. Yeah, Mealy, you just missed Mealy by, like, this much. But I have a good command for Mealy as well. Where are we? What? Yeah. 22/7 is good enough for most practical purposes? That's good to know. Oh, does Dad genuinely believe that? Oh, that's bad. He's an accountant. He should know better. Oh, you've been having a quiet one. That's nice for a Thursday. Nice chill evening. Snuggling up with the puddies. Puddies. Where is my reference photo? It ran away. Yes, Sally, you are the maths teacher. You would know. Does he really think that is definitely the entirety of pi? Surely not. Maybe it's just how he was taught that that's like the practical pie. Like how a 4 and 20 pie is a practical meat pie as opposed to like a big casserole pie. No, accounting doesn't really need to use pie. That is very true. But he still liked maths, so he should know his maths as an accountant, even so. I'm judgy. 22/7 is bad, engineer's joke. I'll use it in front of Richard, I can get away with that. I'm allowed to get away with that sort of stuff in front of Richard, it's great. Things that hurt his maths teacher brain. That's what I'm there for. Seeing as we see opposites in most subjects, as him being so logical-headed and me being so empathy-headed. It's part of our dynamic. Oh, I'm gonna have to forget. I'm definitely gonna forget, and then we'll be at a social occasion and I'll be like, Joe, what's the thing I have to say to her, Richard? I'm such a mean friend. Yes! It's fun, isn't it, DB? Wait until he's 2 beers in. Did that make it better or worse? I'm not sure. For his soul. Did that make him more forgiving? Or less? Just don't know. God, I can't wait till we can just all have like a regular Nielsen house party again. That would be nice. Just like a regular get-together. I'm glad we had Charlotte's birthday when we did, so we could get together for that at the park. That was good. Even though it was a bit dreary that day with the weather. It was still good. Oh, thank you, DB! I was showing everyone before, I can show you as well. This is one that I finished earlier this year, and now I'm sort of going back into it. So this is how it used to look. So the background didn't have the pink in it, the circles weren't as strong, and the skin wasn't as sort of bold and luminous. So I just sort of felt NQR, so I'm going back into it and strengthening it and playing with a whole bit of it. So yeah, I'm going to post like a before and after in Discord if I can get it sort of mostly there by tomorrow. But I'm feeling pretty in the zone at the moment, which is really nice. Feeling the vibes. Still nice and chill and lovely and cozy in here. That's how we got onto the Udi subject, is because everyone was getting cozy in their Udis with some tea. And I'm like, Udis, sorry. I keep calling them Udis instead of Udi. I don't know what is with my Australian accent. It is strange sometimes. 2 beers, Richard is much more jovial. Okay. I'll wait for 2 beers. 2 beers, giggle Richard. Before annoying him with 22/7. No, me, I'll just remember 22/7 and I'll forget what it's in relation to. Hi. And garlic bread. Yes, tea and garlic bread to be cozy. I unfortunately do not have any garlic bread in my house. How is your stockpile going? My garlic bread has been smoten and eaten pretty much on the same night we got it last time, because we got it with pizza. We are traditional folk. We procure our garlic bread through pizza distilleries. No yick. I told you already, I already have an ice cream put aside for post-stream. I'm good, but thank you for offering. We do not need a repeat of how much garlic bread turned up at your house, DB, when you called out for garlic bread? That was Senny, wasn't it? I already asked Mealy tonight if she needed more tasty tubes appearing, because they're very plentiful in my area, and I feel haunted by them because I keep noticing people with tasty tubes like at the post office, and at the post office someone sent a whole box of them, and then at the grocery store the next day a lady was buying like 3 bags literally in front of me in the checkout. So tasty tubes be haunting me. Half a dozen loaves of garlic. Oh, it was a guy I used to work with. I'm sorry. I thought it was Senny, my bad. It's something Senny would do though. But also that's hilarious. Carpet bombed with garlic bread. I think you just need a garlic bread siesta, like a bit of a break in between garlic outings. Yeah, people are being insane with the tubes. It's nuts. I still think they're pretty similar to Cheezels, personally. They're not, like, groundbreaking, but I say that quietly because I don't want to offend. Cindy Devs would have shared your address? Yeah. It's weird, it's that sort of dynamic. It's like, I feel like I trust Senny pretty well for someone who I met over the internet, but at the same time, she is a shenanigan queen. A lovely shenanigan queen. I liked her stream the other night. I'm glad she streamed. That was really cute. What's fun? Cheezels buffet of sandpaper. Oh, that's mean. That's such a mean description. I just like Cheezels better. She is one with the chaos, that is for sure. I can see why she likes Star Wars so much. There's good chaotic, you know, force energy in there. But then again, a lot of my friends are chaotic, aren't they? Yick. Even though you put up a front that you're the rational one. I'm not implying anything. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, yellow. That yellow. You have no idea what I'm talking about. Why am I not surprised you said that? Why am I not surprised? You always thought you were the quiet one. The booming merman with the bright red beard who can sing like an angel is the quiet one. Turns out all you needed was a... There you go! It brought out your extrovert. Your alignment is supposedly set to lawful good. I would say you're lawful chaotic, for sure. You're definitely lawful, but you like your chaos. I think Jess brings the chaos out in you a bit. She authorizes the chaos in a lot of ways, or encourages the chaos, but the chaos is in you. You're smart, DB. You've figured out all the fancy Twitch shit. I am sitting here with my 2 little pop-ups and 2 screens, and that's as much as I've figured out. I will figure out proper alerts one day. Oh, and commands. I have my commands. Yeah. You are very smart. Also, like, king of mods, so the fact that you figure out that mod screen as well. Wonderful skills. I just move the liquids around until it looks like a pretty picture. That's what I do. And I'm happy with that. That's my lot in life, and I'm content. Anytime. It is always fun when they're like, describe your job in the most simplest fashion, and I'm like, I take mud and smush it around until it looks like something. Because that's all paint is it's coloured pigments, most of the time from the ground. So it is coloured dirt mixed with squished up linseed plants, or in this case safflower plants. I have taken the safflower plants for this particular medium, and I smush the mud around until it impersonates a person. Yeah. It's a fun career choice. think. Yick, you should come over and do painting with me one day. You can learn how to smush the things and have fun. You could be my co-streamer. 2D golems. What definition of golems is that? Because I know 3D golems, they're like mud monsters, aren't they? So I make like 2D mud monsters. That makes sense. That makes sense. My brain took a minute there, but we got there. If I could make them animated and defend me, that would be really cool. Like if I could do like Harry Potter paintings where I just paint them and then they animate themselves and have personalities and chat back. Although I don't know what studio life would be like if all my paintings kept giving me their opinions. Would be interesting. I wonder if they'd give me better or worse opinions depending on how well I painted them. No worries, Sally. You have a lovely night. You have a good Friday tomorrow before the weekend. I'm not sure if I'm coming around this weekend just because lady pain, but you know, I will see. But I love you lots. Good night. Yeah. They just lack the ability to do my bidding. Would that be like the suggestion that all Olympic events should have a normal person so spectators can see how... I don't know. How would you measure a normal person? Would you measure a median person based off lots of people running? I don't know. It could be how my paintings would be. I don't know if I'd have to like more categorically make sure I was making them all with love. If I painted something with like hatred in my heart, I don't know if it would be a fun living painting to hang out with. Maybe that's what all the political art in galleries would be like. They'd just yell at you. I don't know, it'd be kind of fun if I had like a Sally and Vicky that acted like Sally and Vicky painting on my wall. That'd be fun. Yes, Olympians are also normal people, so how do you measure a normal people? I don't know. Yeah, that would make the political art galleries even more uncomfortable to go into. Like, a lot of the time I find political art very uncomfortable to look at, and that's kind of the point. But I've got to be in, like, the right headspace to be able to handle that kind of trauma art. Because it is, a lot of it is trauma art. And that's intense to ask yourself to go through. It's like watching a really intense documentary. Like, you've got to be in the right headspace to absorb that kind of emotion and stuff. And if the art was actively yelling at you and antagonizing you, I don't know whether it would be something that I would have the emotional capacity to interact with very much. It would be a lot. Yeah, I'm an angry lefty, but I'm very choosy with how I interact with things because I'm an empath and I am a soft sponge. And I have stuffed myself a couple of times by over-committing or over-absorbing other people's trauma. Which is, it feels selfish, but it is a fact of life that I have to be careful of. Do you want a dozen copies of your sisters on your wall? Maybe not a dozen. A dozen might be a bit much. Selective talking art. Can you turn it off and on again? Is that a human rights issue? I don't know. It's a whole thing. I think that's part of the reason why I am an emotive painter, is because I am such an emotional sponge. It is how I see and the filter I see through is a lot of the times emotive driven. And so that's what I find I express a lot of the time in my artworks, is emotional spongy moments. Things that make me feel. I hope that make my audience feel as well. I find art that makes me feel the most engaging. Even if it's a negative emotion. but more vague than trauma art. Feeling without the story powerful until itself, and then everyone can sort of bring their own stories to the art, which is interesting. No worries, Joe. Good night. You have a lovely night and good luck with the rest of the move. I hope it goes smoothly and with no rain. Yeah. Regarding the Harry Potter paintings, at what point do they become live? Do they move and talk unintelligibly until they're 100% done? I think they have to be 100% done, because who was it in Gryffindor who was the really good artist? Was it Dean Thomas? He, at one point, figured out the spell to make them come alive. So he finished the drawing first, then he cast the spell on it, and then it became alive. So I believe that's canon how it works, is that you paint the painting, and then you do the live thing at the end. Oh, you think it's like a magic varnish that brings the subject to life at the end. That would also work if you did the varnish at the end. Magic sealant. But yeah, I remember Dean, he made like posters for the Quidditch team or something. And that was where he was like, yeah, someone taught me how to make them come alive, so now they move. At one of their like after parties for one of the matches they won. Why do I remember that one fact about Harry Potter really well? Probably because it's to do with art. Because I do not remember Harry Potter facts very well. Sally, who just left, she's the trivia queen when it comes to Harry Potter. Sally, come back, defend me. Bad timing. But that's okay. I stand by, I think that's how it works, Yick. I think, without rereading all the books. Which most of the time I reread up to number 4, and then I'm like, I'm out! It gets serious after this. I've had my fun. Okay, tangent question of the sealant. If you spill varnish on a tattoo, does the tattoo come alive? That would be cool. That would be really cool. The only problem with varnish on skin is most of the time varnish gets uncomfortable and peels off, so would that peel the magic off? Or could they invent a magical sealant that's more like a tattoo balm that you just apply every day, so then it bounces around like the Maui tattoo and you can talk to them? I don't know. I'd be interested though. I'd totally make the dragon tattoo on my back move. I think that would be super cute. But the signatures on my leg would be kind of boring as a moving tattoo, so I wouldn't bother with that. I think you gotta make sure it's like a character tattoo, otherwise it's a bit boring. So yeah, can you imagine like a whole bunch of Aussie boys with their Southern boy star tattoos and then moving? Sun mask, would your arm turn into the sun? Ooh, I don't know. Would it actually affect heat, or would it just look radiant at you and put sunglasses on when you win Minesweeper? I don't know. That age-old question, why does the sun need to wear sunglasses? Would be cute though. He had a little sun that just started sparkling and was like, yeah, sunny day! That would be cute. Alright, the skin is looking a lot more solid now, which I'm really happy about. On this side of the face, but I've still got to do it all on the other side. Smoothing some of my transitions. Alright, in the zone again. Ah. The hard part when you just like zero in one detail and you're like, oh, I haven't talked in ages. Everyone's gone to sleep. But it is part of the chill zone here. You're allowed to chill out for a little bit. I'm just playing with highlights at the moment. Skin is much better looking than it was, I reckon, because it's glowy now. And it looked really wishy-washy before. It'll look a lot better when I photograph it tomorrow in natural light, because it'll make more sense. But yeah, I need to bring some of this light into the other side of the face. Even though the other side of the face is in shadow, it still needs to be balanced, and for me that means it needs to have more colour. Because it's too desaturated. That's way too bright. Way too bright. Thank you! I know it'll look really vibrant on the camera. I was explaining earlier, part of the reason I'm saving up for a DSLR to use as my main camera is because I have an LED light panel up here, and that sort of blows out this side of the face a fair bit. Because like if I turn it off, just like you can see there's a lot more colour now on this side of the face. It's a lot yellow. My problem is this is too dark for me to see what I'm painting. Like it looks better on screen now than it does in person. In person it looks really, really dark. So I need it for my eyeballs. But the camera just can't quite process the colour at that extremeness. But a digital SLR, which I can use as a webcam, would give me a lot of control over light and exposure and all that sort of stuff. And I'm hoping that would let me show you a lot more of the actual paint detail. And I think that's what a lot of the other art YouTubers that I follow use as a camera, as far as I can tell. So that's what we're saving up for in the Ko-fi account. A key light. What is a key light? I am a noob. Is it like one coming from the other direction? Because I've got the overhead light on, which is like the room light. I tend to shed more diffuse light for lighting your face rather than so you aren't blinding yourself. Well, I've thought about like there's a softbox available for my LED light, and I've previously used like a piece of foam and stuff for it because it's LED, it doesn't heat up, so it's fine to use foam over it. But it's worked pretty well, but it did scare my dog. She was not a fan of the big sheet of foamy stuff. There's a on-brand softbox available for the LED light panel, but the reviews for it are kind of shit. So some sort of softboxy option could work well. Yeah, the diffusing. I don't actually have a light on my face. It's just the overspill from this light. I'm too fussed about lighting. I don't know. I like you guys seeing my face, but my face does not need to be high res. I'm good with this, you know, foundation is immaculately white just purely because I have too much light. Means I don't have to wear foundation. But maybe that's me just being lazy. I don't know. It's probably me just being lazy. Because yeah, the webcam that's on me is about 12 years old. And then the webcam that's on the painting is only 1 year old. So if I get the new camera, I'll switch it so the higher quality webcam is on my face, and then it might already have a better effect. Or yeah, I can have a light facing me that's a bit softer. Oh, key light for the canvas. Yeah, the only problem I find lighting more diffused on the canvas is sometimes you get more glare because this is a wet surface. Lighting it from an angle, like this is a 45-degree angle I've currently got the light on, tends to avoid glare quite well. But if I do a more diffused light straight onto it, it can often give you shine where it's all wet. Lighting paintings is really tricky. But it's definitely something I can experiment with more. The main problem I find is all the time when I set stuff up, the best place to set stuff up is right here where my head goes. And I'm like, but my head needs to go there. Like, if I could put the camera here where my head is, that would be brilliant. But how do I do that and still be able to reach things and move around? Your face lighting nowadays is the Elgato Key Light Air. Ooh, I can look that up. Lighting beards is also tricky, especially when yours is so vibrant and well coloured. But I will Google the Elgato. Search Google. And I will look at that after the stream. Thank you. Hey Cam! How are you? How are you this fine evening, sir? How is home and your amazing vaccinated girlfriend who got vaccinated today? Yay! I saw her story thing. Very happy, very proud. Did you see my reels and things this week of my painting of Mark Hamill? Because that was my Star Wars content. Even though that painting is now not going to be on exhibit until December because they moved the dates of the exhibition. Hi Tani! Hi Mav, who's asleep? Dipper's asleep too. She put herself to bed about an hour and a half ago. Or a little bit longer. It's almost 11. Oh, holy heck. This is what happens when I find a painting groove. Time just slips away. Got all these freckles on her nose, so I'm just trying to leave it a bit diffused. Sort of imply those freckles without directly painting spots. Anyway. Oh, you did see it! Yay! I was very happy with that. It's like, I'm not a good reels person. Do people want to see my reel? I made a reel. Reel. I'm proud of it. That's why I want to show it up. Because I am not good at making... It's weird, I can make a YouTube video, but the reels for some reason are just... Oh, why don't you play the sound? Oh, you will play the sound. Exit, start and start again. No. Alright. Change screen. You bet it's really good? That's an amazing joke I've never heard before. It's amazing. This is my Mark Hamill head. How good did that line up at the end with the bum 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 bum? I am so happy with how that turned out. Yes, DB, you are incredibly smart and funny. That's true. That is true. But yes, I'm super happy with that. Yeah. So that painting was meant to be on exhibit from September the 8th. But because of the lockdown, it's now December the 5th. It's going on show. So I showed it off in the hopes that it would soon be exhibited, and now it's been delayed. The same as these two paintings are part of the same show as the one I'm working on now, and that's been delayed as well. So was meant to start tomorrow and is now starting whenever lockdown lifts. So I'm not winning at this whole trying to advertise the paintings that are about to be available business. It's not going so great. So for now, it's just paint everything, music, and hopefully eventually be allowed to show them. Hopefully eventually is the idea. Because, yeah. Yick! I just got an alert that you donated to the camera fund. That's too much. Thank you. Why'd you... No! Bad. Why say donate? It's like the amount of a coffee. Yick! You're amazing. Thank you. You didn't have to donate that much towards the camera. Oh, thank you. You didn't have to. I'm gonna retaliatory buy you dinner at some point, and you know I will. It's from both Jess and you. Thank you, Jess and Yick. Thank you, the Hughesleys. You guys are amazing. You really didn't have to do that. Thank you. Oh, you guys are too good to me. Bought me a pretzel last stream. Turning towards camera. You guys are too nice. Where's my reference photo? I lost it. Too many windows. I know, and that's supposed to sustain you until next job eventually. That's not what that money is for. Cheeky. See, I told you you were chaotic. You're lawful chaotic. That is completely lawful chaotic behavior. And you cannot convince me otherwise. Yeah, I'd say Jess is chaotic neutral. And you're lawful chaotic. You keep her lawful. Alright, I'll shut my trap. That'll be a great stream. I won't say anything. DB, what would you say you are on the D&D alignment chart? I'm always stuck for where I am. I don't know what I would be. Some days I'm lawful, some days I'm not. Some days I'm good, some days I'm not. The same as like picking a Harry Potter house. I'm definitely not solidly one house. I'm like a Raven, Puff, Slytherin. I'm everything but Gryffindor. Because Ravenclaws are meant to be the creatives, but at the same time I'm definitely very Hufflepuffy when it comes to my friends and loyalty and things like that. And then I definitely like my alone time and my solo activities like Slytherins. I just don't relate to Gryffindors. Chaotic lawful maybe? You are a good merman. That is true. That is true. I would definitely say, yeah, you've got some more chaos in you as well. I'm a Ravenclaw according to Tani, no argument. She is a pretty good authority on this kind of thing. But Tani, what about all my friend loyalty, all my Hufflepuffiness? I like food. I wouldn't mind living next to the kitchen. Isn't it? I thought lawful, you could be good, evil, or chaotic. That was the thing. Oh my god, now we've got to look at D&D alignment charts. I know there's quizzes and things you can take for this kind of thing. Give me a picture. Oh, there's lawful evil. And then there's just chaotic good, chaotic neutral, and chaotic evil. Okay, so I think when I say lawful good or lawful chaotic, I mean more like chaotic neutral. Or chaotic good. So like Yick is chaotic good, for sure. And DB, you probably are as well. Chaotic good. That sounds better. Yeah. Chaotic and lawful are on the opposite side. So yeah, I mean good when I said lawful, I meant good. I believe. I'm glad Tani wouldn't mind being a puppy, that's just to be next to the kitchens. It seemed like a really cozy house to be in. Like, Hufflepuffs just seem fucking cozy as people. Cozy and lovely to hang out with, right? I'd like to think I'm a cozy person. I try and bring the cozy vibes. Most of the time. Yeah. Well, that's what, in a lot of ways I think of lawful as good, but really lawful isn't necessarily good. Lawful is just following the rules no matter what they are, which isn't always a good thing. Hufflepuffs are Oodies. That's brilliant. Yes, Hufflepuffs are definitely Oodies. Are there Harry Potter Oodies? There should be. They should get licensing. People would buy the shit out of that. But imagine Hufflepuffs in lockdown, they would be packing on the COVID pants. Oh, 100%, but who of us isn't? I definitely am. That's the problem. I was like really healthy and skinny for our wedding just before, well, skinny doesn't mean healthy, but I was in a very good state and very happy with myself, physically and mentally, just before lockdown in October 2018. And then lockdown happened. And I stacked back on the pounds. But that's emotional eating for you, so whatever gets you through. We'll figure out all that stuff later. Later Liz can figure it out. Oh, sure. Amazing how many just tiny little turns of form there are in her nose. Change everything. But yeah. Like, the Hufflepuffs are the ones keeping us together right now. I mean, there's a mixture of Slytherin and Gryffindor dickheads doing protesting and weirdness. Depending on how angry and frustrated they are. Hufflepuffs are the nice, lovely ones keeping us sane. And cozy. Chaotic Good character does what is necessary to bring about change for the better, disdains bureaucratic organisations that get in the way of social improvement, and places a high value on the personal. Yeah, that definitely sounds like lefties. For sure. Freedom, not only for oneself, but for others as well. That sounds lovely. Cam, this is my version of a book. I don't have time to write a book. If someone wants to, like, I don't even know how I would organize my thoughts. That's my problem when people ask me if I do teaching, is it's like, I don't know how to construct lesson plans out of my thoughts. But this has given me a lot of confidence when it comes to teaching in terms of that Q&A style where it's like, if someone puts me on the spots and asks me about something, I will talk about that something. And I will tell you what's going on in my brain. I'm quite happy. I'm a very sharing person and I don't want to, like, gatekeep art things that I've learned over the years. I think that's completely counterproductive and stupid. Not stupid, that's a ableist word. Counterproductive and just unhelpful. But at the same time, being a self-taught artist, more or less, like I did go to uni, but they didn't teach me how to paint. I don't feel equipped with teaching skills, particularly to be a formal teacher. So that's what I keep struggling with when people are like, oh, can you teach class? I'm like, no, but I can do a demonstration where I show you what I do and I can talk about what I do and I can answer questions when people have questions. That's a very different mental space than teaching for me. And it's, yeah, what live streaming has really made me really comfortable with. And I've really enjoyed learning how to just chat with you guys and organize my thoughts one at a time rather than as a cohesive collection like a novel. But I really find this quite enjoyable and socially very stimulating as an artist, because often you are on your own and isolated anyway, with or without lockdowns. This has been a great space to cultivate, and I'm very thankful for all you guys who turn up and say hey and ask me weird questions about unicorns. What? So Chaotic Good are basically socialist, and yeah, see, Chaotic Good, that sounds about right, yeah. Also unicorns are chaotic good, for sure. Well, it depends which unicorns you're talking about. Like, the unicorns in Gravity Falls, one of my favourite TV shows, they're dicks. So, it depends. Have you seen Gravity Falls? It's an animated TV show. You should if you haven't. It's like the #1 one that I force all my friends to watch. It's brilliant. It's only 2 seasons, but it's a cohesive story. And it, like, comes to a very satisfying conclusion, which is very rare for an animated series to be so cohesive. But that's part of what makes it brilliant. And yeah, it was all made by Alex Hirsch, who's a wonderful writer, creator, who I love. Oh, you can't do animated shows. Aw, that's a pity. That's okay. Well, if Alex Hirsch ever does anything live action, I will see if it is just as good as his animated stuff. I do apologize I'm on the less good Twitch. That's my fault for starting on the less good Twitch. The only reason I'm here is because I want to get my watch time up to a point where I can monetize. And once I can monetize, I can then decide whether I want to stay live streaming here or do live streaming on Twitch and just do my videos on YouTube. I can make that choice once we hit that almighty 4,000 watch hours. Which is almighty. We're over halfway though, folks. We are over halfway, which is insane and awesome. I can't do, like, current TV, but I definitely binge series. Alex Hirsch's partner has actually come out with a separate animated TV show called The Owl House, and I absolutely love that as well. So I've been binging, well, I binged that. And now I need to meet up with another mate who has been a good little pirate to get me the extra episodes that have come out in the US that are not on Disney Plus, because Disney Plus is frustrating. Yeah. Yeah, binging stuff, you can really engage with it and, like, continue the story, and I find I don't forget all the things that are happening. I've got a really bad memory for things over time, and that's why I always tend to rewatch old things before new episodes come out. Like, we just finished watching all of Brooklyn Nine-Nine again because the new season's about to come out, or has started coming out. I'm gonna wait till it's all out and then watch it all together with my husband, because, yeah, like, watching it episode by episode, it just doesn't keep me engaged. You missed the earlier TV show chat, but you do recommend Ted Lasso. A lot of people have been saying that recently. The other one everyone recommended was Utopia. Like, people working in public service, and it's a comedy, and it's like 100% too accurate. That was what I was told. That is accurate, you've been forced to watch. Have you been forced to watch, Jess, or has it been put on in your presence and you have subconsciously kind of watched because it was there? Is that Ted Lasso, or are you talking about me forcing you to watch Gravity Falls and Owl House? Because, yes. A little bit. Mrs. D watched Utopia. There we go. That's 3 people who have recommended it now. That's awesome. Monsters at Work you told me to watch. Yes, I need to watch that. That's another animated one, though. I watched the trailer for it, and it did look very cute. But that's as far as I got. Yeah. Remind me next time we're allowed to hang out in person. We can watch that in the background while we talk too fast and catch up. Which, yes, if you want to go for a walk this weekend, Jess, tell me and we can go for a walk, because I haven't seen you in a bit. Jess we have an overlap in our 5Ks, so we are allowed to be walking buddies, which is lovely. And I went for a walk with Yik today. That was really nice. I needed that to wake up, because I was sleepy. Yeah. Also, there's like 3 different shows called Utopia. That's not helpful. Tani recommends Sailor Moon. Well, tell me something new. Should I watch the new Sailor Moon, the like crystal one? Because I haven't watched the new one. I only watched the old one like a million years ago. There's UK Utopia, and then there's US version of it, and now there's Australian Utopia, which is the political comedy. Okay, so I need to watch the Australian Utopia. Because the only Utopia I know is the book that Drew Barrymore has in Ever After, the version of Cinderella. She has the book Utopia, and that was the only reason I knew it. Yes, I need to watch Crystal Sailor Moon. Okay, I will put it on the list. It's probably already on the list, but I will put it on the list anyway. Because that's on Netflix, isn't it? I think it is. I need to watch season 4 of Haikyuu, the anime one, because I am up to season 3. Because I was waiting for the dub, but I think I'm too late. Too frustrated waiting for the dub, and I will just have to suck it up and pay attention to subtitles. Most of the time I like dubs just because I like to do things with my hands while watching TV. And it is hard to do that when there's subtitles, because I can't look at my hands. It just takes a lot more out of me to focus on subtitles for a whole show. Yeah, the Utopia is based on a book or a comic or something. That's fair. It seems like a very popular word. Just the final movie, but we've watched the whole series. You can borrow. Cool. Put that on the list next time I get to see you guys. I haven't even watched any of the new Star Wars shows because it just can't be fucked. Yeah, I'm like, when a new show is out and it's popular, like The Mandalorian, I just can't do it. Brooklyn Nine-Nine I was really resistant to because everyone was too obsessed with it, but I think Jack just put it on in the background and after a couple of episodes I got into it. But yeah, I find it very hard to engage with things when they're popular because there's so much social effort. Like, I don't know, they just feel so effort. So The Mandalorian I haven't touched, or like the Loki series or any of that, even though I love Marvel stuff and I love Star Wars stuff. I just haven't done the things. I haven't done the legwork at the moment. Mandalorian is fucking incredible, that's great. I've drawn like 2 pictures of Baby Yoda, like Groot, is that his name? Grung something. Because he's so fucking cute, but I haven't actually watched the show, which feels bad. Painted Mark Hamill's face. See, I'm still in the original series. I'm slow. I'm slow to adapt. I did see Rogue One, and I watched the new trilogy, except I haven't seen the last one. I really liked the first one. I didn't mind the second one. But then the third one, everyone was so negative about it, turned me off entirely. I will watch it eventually. I promise. I just haven't got that far yet. Grogu, thank you. I was halfway there. See, a lot of things do need like 2 seasons to get into it. Like Sally keeps recommending Schitt's Creek, but she's like, you've got to get past the first season, and I'm like, oh, that sounds like so much effort. Even though a lot of the time I will watch 2 seasons of something before I sort of make a final decision on it. I watched Auntie Donna last night. That was one of the ones that was on my it's really popular so it's intimidating list. I watched 4 or 5 episodes of that. And that was quite fun. After watching Mark Bonanno on Twitch and that sort of thing. That was fun to see Australian comedy on American Netflix kind of thing. Although yeah, some of it didn't quite hit for me, comedy styles, but some of it did really well. So it's definitely that true thing of sketch comedy where you don't know what you're gonna get, so you're just along for the ride. I definitely feel like I'm making progress, which is nice. I think I've got to bring out the bridge of the nose on this side. Any show where someone says you got to get through the first season though is always a no. Yeah, it's just hard, right? It's just hard. And like, I admit there's shows that I like that I would probably qualify as that, and Haikyuu is one of them. Like, the first season of Haikyuu does so much establishing the characters that I don't really get to gameplay stuff. And then the second season is all gameplay and so much more fun. So anyone who doesn't know, Haikyuu is an anime about boys playing volleyball that I normally would not be interested in at all, but it's so fucking wholesome, it's adorable. And you get really into the characters, and I ship all the characters and I want them all to kiss. But they don't, which makes me sad. But also they're high school boys, so, you know, that's fine. Either way, the first season, yeah, all they do is establish the characters for the whole season, and it's sort of dry for that reason. But the second season is so fucking beautiful because it's gameplay and them all interacting and all their strengths and weaknesses, and they like cry together, and it was just like, it's a beautiful series. So yeah, weird TV be like that. Yes, I said anime boys playing volleyball, which is like nothing in my interest level, but it got me hooked. It got me hooked, man. And now there's a comic book series called Fence that I love, which is pretty much the same storyline, but with kids doing fencing in college. And this one does have queer overtones, and it's so good. It's so good. Oh, I love it. And yeah, so I'm waiting for the next issue of Fence all the time, so we're buying those ones. Because that was just like a random comic that Jack bought me one time when he went to the comic store, and he's all like, oh, what about this one? Because I have very strange comic taste. I just like random stuff here, there, and everywhere. And yeah, Fence 100% landed for me. And it's exactly the same storyline as Haikyuu, but boys fencing with gay overtones. Lovely. Looking at the painting, it looks done. Oh, I'm sorry. Cam, did you see the before and after? I'll quickly show Cam the before and after. Hold on, folks. So, it was sort of finished earlier this year. Like that. But it was just a bit NQR. It didn't hit right for me. I didn't like the background. I didn't like the shirt. The skin was a bit wishy-washy. So, you can see I've added much stronger circles. I've added all the pink to the background, and now we're just strengthening all the colours in the face to make it more luminous. So it's subtle, but like I'm gonna post a before and after on Discord when I'm done, and that will show you the hopefully quite vast strengthening of all the little touches that I'm doing. That's my hope anyway. What's your favourite book trilogy? Sorry, yes, NQR, not quite right. That's the store that sells the food that's close to its use-by date. I use that turn of phrase all the time. There's an NQR in Baronia, and they sell so much chocolate. It's ridiculous. Like all year round, they sell so much chocolate that's just like a couple of months out from its use-by date, and it's so cheap. It's the most terrible influence store to go into, especially if you don't need chocolate in your life right now. Quite good for things like cleaning supplies and that, because like how much do they really change when they expire? Not much at all. Oh, the Bitterfly trilogy! I love that trilogy! Oh my god! Yeah, so they all made Mute and all of them. That was like my version of Lord of the Rings when I was a kid, because Lord of the Rings I found too dry and I really struggled to get through it until I was like an older, like young 20-something. But the Bitterbite series was like my favorite. Oh my god. Especially, I started with the second one because I bought it at one of those book fairs where there's like cheap books, and I didn't realize it was the second one. So I read that one first, and then I went back and read the first one, and I got really confused because I didn't realize the twist in the first book. And that's why I got confused. But yeah, no, it was awesome. Yeah, the Ill Made Mute is, I like the second book the best of the three. The second one's awesome. What's the name of the second one? God damn it. Apparently she wrote another trilogy, which is meant to be just as good, but I haven't looked into that. Now why did that mute me? It's because I opened a tab? That's so weird. Every now and then my mic just mutes. I wonder if it times out or something. Oh, that's so weird. You know how many times I drew the characters from the covers of the Bitterbite series? Especially the portrait and the owl from the Lady of Sorrows. I loved that. Ah, what was I even saying? I read out what you said about it being slow-paced, and I was just saying, yeah, that's why it was interesting that I started with the second book, because so much happens in it. And then rereading reading the first book after it, it was just like context and like, oh, that makes sense, I guess. D, you have wine! Congrats! D, +1 wine. You should have a little alert, like a game character. Well done! How are you doing? I'm slowing down a little bit, but I feel like I've gotten a lot done, which is nice. Oh, I've lost my reference photo again. Where are you? Too many things. I swear, I have a nice big screen and I still lose things when I'm streaming so easily. Good night, Jess! You missed wine time, but that's okay. You've got work tomorrow, so no wine time for Jess quite yet. I'll have wine another time. Oh, really? Well, DB, did you see that there was a series for After It? I wonder if that is good. Yeah. That is the hard part with trilogies and books like that, and I was the same with the David Eddings books. That you get so immersed, and then you're just like, what do I do with my life the second you finish it, because there's no more world to explore, and it's strange. Good night, Jess. I love you. Thank you so much for contributing to the camera fund. You didn't have to. But thank you. Yes. It was a well-rounded story, which I'm thankful for, because I have definitely read books and watched TV shows that don't end well, and it sort of ruins the whole experience somewhat. Especially when you love the characters so much and you're so committed to their stories. If they just fuck up the ending, it's just devastating. I want to reread it now. It's been so long. Probably been a good 4 years since I read it. Oh, you had the first book in the second series but couldn't get into it. Boo! I knew it existed, but I never pursued it. I have so many books from the last 10 years that I just haven't read. Which is frustrating, because I used to be such a very good devoted reader, but the art guilt is real, and unfortunately it ruins a lot of my ability to sit down and read a book. I permanently feel guilty if I'm not doing the art thing that I should be doing. You know, shoulds. Game of Thrones totally didn't ruin their ending. Are the books officially finished? Or are you still waiting for him to publish another book? Because I thought that was the whole thing, is that the TV show ruined it, but the books officially aren't finished because he took too long writing the last book. The TV people did whatever the fuck they wanted. Oh really, DB? Is that an ADHD thing? I find audiobooks I can still do, but I need to like focus on actually committing to an audiobook. Which I'm much better at. Audiobooks in the car, 100%. I can listen to any audiobook in the car, drive, absorb everything. But if I'm like trying to have an audiobook on like I normally would have YouTube, I find it harder to concentrate. I get too distracted. But driving, fucking love an audiobook. That's why I'm so upset I can't drive to Adelaide for this art exhibition, because I could have smashed an audiobook in that trip. Maybe 2. And that would have been such a good drive. Frustrate. Used to read so much too, now you need abridged videos. You're still good at comics and stuff though, Dee, aren't you? Yeah, no, audiobooks in the car are fantastic. I thoroughly recommend next time you've got a long drive in your future, fucking commit to an audiobook. They are wonderful, but make sure the voice is good. Like, anything read by Stephen Fry, I absolutely adore, because he's done all those new, like, Greek mythology books and that sort of stuff. Absolutely wonderful. If it's a shit voice, it's the worst experience. It's so weird how some voices can just make or break it, but they do. Oh, I think I'm winding down, guys. I think I'm winding down. I'm running out of pep. Also, I totally feel like snuggling up with a book now. But I'm really happy with tonight's session, so thank you so much for joining me. It has been lovely. Literally lovely. That's true, you can sing so much in the car. I don't do full musicals, but I definitely have a musicals playlist on my Spotify. With particular musicals that I like. Because I can't do the high girly stuff. I actually like singing the male parts in most songs, because that's where my voice is more comfy. And like Flynn Rider from Tangled, I love anything in his voice because I can belt that a bit. But I also have like Hello Dolly and other musicals like that. So yeah, I like a bit of musical. I love a bit of musical. I've got a really good remix of the main song from High School Musical. That's on my playlist at the moment. That's fun. Mr. Fry did the lusty Argonian maid from Skyrim. Really? Dude, that's an amazing fact. Driving home singing Oliver Twist or Book of Mormon. Book of Mormon is quite fun to sing too, although there's some songs that get on my nerves, like the sex dream, the one about like having naughty dreams. That one, I don't like that song. But like the lead song, Hello, is just amazing. I love doing that. And you sing all the parts. You don't just use some of the parts, you do all of them. Metal musicals, ooh. I feel like Nightwish should qualify, because they're very musical in their melodic metal. But yeah, in terms of actual musicals that have metal soundtracks, I don't know very many. I feel like you'd be able to belt the Sweeney Todd soundtrack, like, fantastically, though. Because there's so much, like, gravitas in the music, and you are very good at the gravitas. Thrash metal Disney? I've never heard of thrash metal Disney. It sounds like something that would exist just because you said it to the universe. Oh, In the Dark of the Night. Oh, yes. That song's great. That song is great. There should be like a musical songs bit in your Discord, DB, just so we can share like musical songs. Does Mrs. D like all the musicals in that as well? Because yeah, Dr. Batman is less into the musicals. Oh, my sisters love them, so that's more of my me and the girls thing. Dylan songs are amazing, and in thrash metal, that sounds appropriate. Hell yeah. You're full of gravitas. No, that's not what I meant. But I mean, if it's a good ass and it's consensual, you know, you do you. Yes, The Prince of Egypt is so good. And that song for The Lion King 2, that's like, oh, what is it? The one where he's like called out for being bad, Kobu. There's like one song for The Lion King 2 that I have on my soundtrack, which is fucking amazing. Jess, I love you. I'm sorry, we're not talking about Hamilton, so that's totally fine, right? Mrs. D just said nah. Oh, fair enough. I'm sorry, Jess. I love you. I think I've definitely run out of painting juice, guys. But this is really fun. Thank you. I say that and I do like one more thing. Yeah. Yep, I think I'm done for tonight. Oh! But I will take a before and after when this is done, and then we get to see how much she's improved or strengthened. I think I've still got to go through this whole side. Oh, the Book of Mormon quarter. I'm sorry. That was Dehan's fault. Blame D. Book of Mormon was great to see live. I'm really glad I got to see that one live. Book of Mormon is because of Jess. Oh god, it's a whole circle. It's a whole circle. Book of Mormon is a very satirical comedy written by the guys who do South Park. All about Mormons. It is very inappropriate, but very fun in some bits. It's a whole thing. The American one had Josh Gad as one of the main guys, and he did a wonderful job. See, who is we? Radio Disney versions of metal songs. Ooh, I don't know about those either. Okay, so I've got to look up Thrash Disney and Radio Disney versions of metal songs. Ooh! Oh, that sounds cute. Cannibal Corpse done to a poppy Disney version. That sounds adorable. That sounds really cute. Look up Jonathan Young or Elec Official on YouTube. Ooh. If you want to put links in the Discord, do that too, because that's easy. Just in the other section. You know, Pelek? Okay, I'm gonna have some water. System of a Down did a Legend of Zelda cover. Oh, that's cool. Don't mind me. You guys chat. I'm just going back up. Oh, I can show you both the painting we started earlier. This is the painting we started at the start of chat. So she was a nothing until the start of the stream. So we've gotten through the 2 tonight, which is quite lovely. She's got a dry brush, she's very wet. Oh, I need tissue for this. Where are my tissues? Okay, I think we're gonna have to move this chat over to Discord, which I'm totally cool to do. But thank you all so much for joining me on the stream. This was a lovely stream. I feel very much reinvigorated with my painty paints. Which is lovely. And now I've got 2 panels to work on again. I've got this one and the new one we just started, which is my optimum amount of painty paints to have on the go at once is 2. So that is just perfect. Thank you all so much for joining me and for contributing to chat. This was a really fun chat tonight. You guys are best chat. Best chat on YouTube, for sure. And I will see you all next week or whenever. Next week it will be a Thursday morning stream, so 9:30 AM Australian Eastern Standard Time for our American friends. And then the week after that we'll be back to evenings again. I love you all so much and thank you for joining me and have a lovely evening and a good weekend. Yeah? Bye. Love you guys.